Chapter 181. Do you like it? Su Yiyan froze for a moment, thinking that he was asking if she liked the manor. I like it, this manor is very beautiful. Huo Chenhuan did not comment and asked again, do you like the flowers here? Su Yiyan blinked, only then did she understand that Huo Chenhuan had just asked about the flowers in the courtyard. I like it. But how do you know that I like blue roses? Huo Chenhuan did not give a direct answer. Instead he gave an ambiguous answer. If you want to know you can find out. As long as you have the heart and are willing to understand, there is nothing in this world that can be hidden. If a person does not know what kind of person he likes, what kind of habits she has, what kind of preferences she has, then it can only mean that he is not attentive enough to you and does not love you enough. The corners of Su Yiyan's lips curled up slightly as she pushed Huo Chenhuan into the manor. Perhaps knowing that someone would come tonight, the manor's gate was wide open, welcoming them in. Su Yiyan looked around but did not see anyone for a long time. As if seeing her doubts, Huo Chenhuan kindly reminded her, tonight, there is no one else here except for me and you. Just the two of us? Yes, you don't like to be alone with me? No, just the two of us, this is good. Su Yiyan pushed Huo Chenhuan to the front of the flowers and asked with a smile, you know that I like blue roses, then do you know why I like blue roses? What? Blue is the color of the sky and the sea, clean and beautiful. And the flower language of blue roses just happens to be miracles and impossible things. I like miracles, they can always bring me different surprises just like you. She thought that she would miss you but unexpectedly returned to the past. In her previous life, this was something impossible to achieve, a miracle that she had never expected. To me you are a miracle. Huo Chenhuan's expression slightly moved and reached out to hold Su Yiyan's hand. You are also my miracle. Su Yiyan pursed her lips, and just as she was about to say something, she suddenly heard a burst of fireworks outside the manor. Someone is setting off fireworks? Su Yiyan's attention was instantly attracted. Colorful fireworks flew up from both sides of the manor, sometimes like a waterfall pouring down, sometimes like snowflakes dancing in the sky. Su Yiyan at first thought that the fireworks were just deliberately set by the people near the manor, until the fireworks exploded in the sky one after another. Did you prepare these fireworks? Su Yiyan's voice just fell. Suddenly, a familiar figure flew out of the manor's gate. It was a fat dog wearing a pink lace dress with a large pink bow on its head. As it ran, the flesh all over its body was trembling. The blue rose in its mouth was also being blown by the wind and was being ravaged. Dun dun. Su Yiyan was about to squat down to greet her little dog, but saw it suddenly turn around and run to her side. Huo Chenhuan carefully took the rose in Dundun's mouth, and patted its little head as a reward. Then she leaned over to look at Su Yiyan and smiled, Yen? Yes. Su Yiyan's heart suddenly jumped, and she inexplicably felt a little nervous. Chapter 182. Su Yiyan's mind went blank for a moment. She stared blankly at the blue rose in front of her. After a while she finally found her voice, You want me to agree with just a blue rose? That's too perfunctory, isn't it? As soon as the words came out of her mouth, she regretted it. It wasn't just a blue rose, but a courtyard full of roses, a manor and an island. But even if it was just a rose, she was still willing. What was there to be stubborn about? Then what if I add this? Huo Chenhuan took out a small box that he had prepared earlier and handed it to Su Yiyan. When Su Yiyan saw the thing inside, her face changed. Inside the delicate little box was a beautiful platinum diamond ring. This diamond ring was in the shape of a rotating belt. Finally, one on the left and one on the right, encircled the uppermost diamond. In addition, if one looked carefully, they would find that the belt of the ring had an incomparably delicate engraving in the shape of an olive branch. At a glance, it looked like two olive branches encircling the diamond. It was a little strange but very beautiful. However, what really surprised Su Yiyan wasn't the design of the diamond ring, but that she had seen this diamond ring in her previous life. During the days when she was by Huo Chenhuan's side as a soul, she had seen several times when Huo Chenhuan was alone at night, staring at this diamond ring thoughtfully. Could it be that in his previous life, he had also fantasized about being together with her? Also, he liked her so much. How could he not have thought about it? But since he had thought about it, why didn't he put it into action? If Su Yiyan's heart flashed with countless guesses, but Huo Chenhuan didn't know anything about it. Seeing that she was silent, the little heart that had long been accustomed to storms and waves actually became nervous. Yen. Su Yiyan suddenly woke up. Only then did she remember that she was at the scene of a marriage proposal. Someone was holding this familiar ring and proposing to her. Since you're so sincere, I'll reluctantly agree to your request. Although she said that, Su Yiyan's eyes were brimming with joy, making it obvious that she was in a good mood at the moment. Huo Qinhuan's heart calmed down, but she didn't expose her. She picked up the ring and put it on her finger carefully. After putting it on, Su Yiyan stared at the ring and turned it over several times. It was neither too tight nor too loose. It wouldn't hurt and it wouldn't slip out easily. How did you know the size of my finger? Yes, said Wang Yao. Measured? How did you measure it? Huo Qinhuan reached out and took the initiative to hold her hand. Then he opened his hand and intertwined his fingers with hers. This is the amount. Su Yiyan? Like hell I'll believe you. How can you measure it like this? However, she also knew that there wasn't much point in dwelling on this. Soon, she changed the topic that she was more curious about. The pattern of this ring is a bit special. Does it have any special meaning? Huo Qinhuan held her hand and stroked the texture of the ring. At that time, I asked for eternity and he gave me a design in return. The body of the ring is a miniature version of the Mobius ring, which symbolizes eternity. The olive branch on the top seems to symbolize peace, but in fact, it represents the endless growth of plants forever and ever. Su Yiyan's eyes became slightly hot when she heard these words. Endless growth forever and ever. What a moving 8 words. Chapter 183. Who's this guy you're talking about? His name is Hermes. He's a friend of mine and a famous jewelry designer. Su Yiyan was stunned when he heard the name. The internationally famous jewelry designer Hermes James? Yes. You're friends with him? The internationally renowned jewelry tycoon was in his 40s or 50s. He was a completely different age group from Huo Qinhuan. Most importantly, in 2 years this tycoon who once controlled the lifeline of the jewelry world would pass away due to illness. Not long after his death, because he did not leave behind any descendants, the younger generation of the family's collateral branch fought over the inheritance he left behind. A terrible gunfight even broke out. In the end, most of the people died and the rest ended up in prison. The jewelry tycoon collapsed and disappeared in the long river of history. It became a topic of conversation for many people. Su Yiyan had an impression of this name because he had seen the relevant news report at the time. He had lamented the impermanence of the world. He did not expect these two to be friends. Then in 2 years, we're friends despite the difference in age. Huo Qinhuan did not hide it. I met him by chance on a trip. We became friends because we hit it off. We've known each other for almost 10 years. Su Yiyan was shocked. So long. Yes. I mentioned this idea to him before, but I didn't let him put it into practice. I didn't expect him to have an idea in private long ago. He rushed to produce the finished product before I urged him. This was the main reason why the diamond ring could appear in front of them so quickly. When Huo Qinhuan asked Zui Yanbai to contact Hermes, he was a little worried that there would not be enough time for him to finalize the draft and produce the finished product. He did not expect that the finished product would be delivered a few days after he mentioned it to him. There was also a letter that told him that the wedding ring was in the process of being produced. It would definitely be completed before their wedding, and there was no need to worry. Although Huo Qinhuan did not mention Hermes much, Su Yiyan could feel a sense of closeness. It was obvious that the two of them had a good relationship. After all, there were very few people in this world who could be considered friends by Huo Qinhuan. Why did you suddenly think of proposing? We're about to get married. That day, I promised your father that as long as it's someone else's, I won't take anything less. So you thought of proposing? The proposal is very important. I don't want to have any regrets. This regret was not only for Su Yiyan, but also for himself. Su Yiyan looked at the diamond ring on her finger. She had to admit that Huo Qinhuan was right. Even though she knew that they would get married soon, she still couldn't help but feel a little happy when such a surprise suddenly appeared. This was a little romance that he had planned completely on his own initiative. It was worth treasuring for her for the rest of her life and slowly savoring it in the future. The fireworks outside the courtyard were still going off. They had already transitioned from the previous roses to various characters and languages of Yen Yen, I love you. It was really simple and crude. But she liked it. After the two of them watched the fireworks, they walked around the manor twice. Su Yiyan realized that not only were the flowers that she liked planted in the manor, but the decoration and the overall layout were also the type that she liked. Chapter 184. Oh no. Su Yiyan's face changed greatly. Why is it so late? Huo Qinhuan reminded her at the right time. It was already past 8 when you woke up. Wouldn't it be 12 o'clock after eating and taking a stroll? Su Yiyin wanted to cry but had no tears. No, I have to go home. My parents will go crazy if they don't see me back so late. It's not safe to go out to sea so late. Su Yiyin suddenly froze. Indeed, it was very dangerous to go out to sea in the dark. Then I'll call my parents and inform them. Where's my cell phone? Su Yiyin rummaged through her clothes for a long time and finally found her cell phone in her jacket pocket. She opened it. No. Yes. No. Why is there no signal here? Huo Qinhuan's face didn't change. The terrain is remote and we haven't had time to install a signal receiver. Assistant Zhua, who had installed a shielding device early in the morning and blocked all the signals on the island, was very famous. Then what should we do? It's okay. Huo Qinhuan held Su Yiyin's hand and comforted her. Before we came, I asked Xiaoyang to report your whereabouts to your parents. Your parents should know that you're here now and that you're going to stay here tonight. They won't worry. Su Yiyin wasn't comforted at all. Instead, she looked at Huo Qinhuan sadly. No, you asked Xiaoyang to tell them. They may be more worried now. Huo Qinhuan laughed. What are they worried about? That I'll eat you? Su Yiyin curled her lips. That's not impossible. You've already proposed. You should ask for some reward, right? That's because they don't know my physical condition. Su Yiyin was slightly stunned. Just when she was about to comfort him, she heard him say, but it's not impossible to ask for other rewards. It's my negligence. Thank you for reminding me. Su Yiyin. Did she dig a hole and bury herself in it? Huo Qinhuan looked at Su Yiyin's slightly sluggish expression and knew that she couldn't tease her too much. She comforted her. It's just one night. It's okay. It's late. Let's go upstairs and check out the rooms. I'll send you back tomorrow morning. Su Yiyin sighed and compromised. That's the only way. The two of them and the dog went upstairs. At first, Su Yiyin was a little worried that Huo Qinhuan would ask to sleep in the same room as her. However, Huo Qinhuan took her directly to the master bedroom and took Dun Dun to the guest room. Su Yiyin breathed a sigh of relief, but at the same time she was inexplicably a little disappointed. After a day of torment, Su Yiyin thought that she would fall asleep as soon as she touched the bed. She didn't know if it was because she had slept before or because too many unexpected things had happened that night. She lay on the bed for more than an hour, but she didn't feel sleepy at all. The weather on the island changed quickly. They were still watching the stars on the beach in the first half of the night. In the second half of the night, there was a sudden gust of wind, lightning, thunder and rain. Su Yiyin couldn't sleep anymore. She looked at the threatening curtains by the window. After hesitating for a moment, she got up and closed the window. But it couldn't block out the sound of the wind, lightning and rain outside the window. Just then there was a sudden knock on the door of her room. Su Yiyin froze slightly. Huo Qinhuan had said that there were only the two of them in the manor tonight. Was it Huo Qinhuan who was knocking on the door, or? Su Yiyin took a deep breath and walked over slowly. Chapter 185. Su Yiyin was shocked. She took a closer look and realized that it was Dun Dun. When she looked up again, she saw Huo Qinhuan's familiar figure. Unlike before he left, Huo Qinhuan was wearing light blue cotton pajamas, which made him look more casual and approachable. She looked prettier. Huo Qinhuan saw that she was staring at her and took the initiative to break the silence. It's raining. Su Yiyin instantly sobered up. She smiled awkwardly and said, Yes. Yes. There's thunder. Yes. Dun Dun seems to be a little afraid of thunder. He keeps coming over. Dun Dun is afraid of thunder? Su Yiyin blinked doubtfully and looked down at the little guy at her feet. Dun Dun. If he's afraid, then so be it. I'm used to being the scapegoat. Woof. Dun Dun barked sadly. Then it threw itself on Su Yiyin's cotton slippers and shivered. If Gu Xiaoyang and the others were here, they would definitely sigh and say, This dog has become a demon. Su Yiyin felt sorry for Dun Dun. She bent over and picked up the little guy. Then let him sleep in my room. After Su Yiyin finished speaking, she found that Huo Qinhuan was still at the door. She asked doubtfully, Is there anything else? I'm afraid of thunder too. Su Yiyin. What are you afraid of? During the time when I was with you, I encountered many thunderstorms, but I didn't see you being afraid. How old are you? Are you still afraid of thunder? It has nothing to do with age. Su Yiyin's mouth twitched. She thought, it has nothing to do with age. It has to do with how thick-skinned you are. At this time, Huo Qinhuan was obviously going to be thick-skinned to the end. There's no one else in this house except you and me. She was implying that she was afraid of thunder, so she could only rely on her. Then, let Dun Dun accompany you? Dun Dun, who had been acting for a long time and was about to be stuffed back in again. It's scared and I'm scared. If we stick together we'll be even more scared. Are you still playing 1 + 1 = 2 at this time? Su Yiyan couldn't help but want to roll her eyes. She suddenly wanted to tell the person in front of her that she was actually afraid of thunder. However, in the current situation, it was clearly not feasible. Then what do you suggest we do? Huo Qinhuan's eyes flashed with a trace of a triumphant smile. You already let Dun Dun stay in your room. You shouldn't mind having one more person, right? Su Yiyan? Who said I don't mind? Dun Dun is Dun Dun, you are you, how is it the same? That's not good, is it? I don't sleep well. As soon as he said this, Huo Qinhuan couldn't help but laugh. What are you thinking? I just want to borrow the floorboards in your room to sleep on the floor. Su Yiyan was stunned, and her face uncontrollably turned red. Oh my god, what did she just say? Cough, I'm not thinking of anything. You have a good room to sleep in, but you want to sleep on the floor in my room? In this kind of weather, aren't you afraid of freezing to death? There's a heating system in the house. Su Yiyan choked. But there's no spare quilt. The spare quilt is in the bottom right corner of the wardrobe. There's a cover and a cushion. Su Yiyan? You're so well prepared? I suspect that you've been planning this for a long time, and it was premeditated. Even if you have all these things, it's still... Before Su Yiyan could finish, Huo Qinhuan interrupted her. What are you afraid of? What? Chapter 186. Su Yiyan felt inexplicably guilty under his gaze. She subconsciously took a step back and said sternly, No, no. Since you didn't take me in, it shouldn't be a problem, right? Su Yiyan opened her mouth and was about to say something when she heard Huo Qinhuan say, You said before that I should ask for a reward for my successful proposal. The reward I want is to sleep on the floor in your room. This request isn't too much, right? Su Yiyan? I have nothing to say. In the end, Su Yiyan was persuaded by him. Well then. But I have to say in advance that sleeping in the same room is just sleeping in the same room. Don't do anything unnecessary. Although we are about to get married, there are some things that can only be done after marriage. These things were not just that kind of thing. Although Su Yiyan usually kissed and hugged Huo Qinhuan, she was actually quite conservative. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been unable to resist every time she was flirted with. A smile flashed across Huo Qinhuan's eyes. She responded obediently, okay. Su Yiyan turned around and put the Dun Dun aside first. Then she helped Huo Qinhuan find a spare quilt. After quickly laying it down, she hurriedly turned on the circulating heating system. In just a few minutes the room was much warmer. It's all done. Go to sleep. Su Yiyan had just helped Huo Qinhuan lie down when she immediately went back to her bed. She covered her head with the quilt and didn't move. A few minutes later, Su Yiyan secretly poked her little head out and asked in a low voice, Are you still awake? She thought that she wouldn't get a reply. Unexpectedly, in the next second, she heard a low voice from below. Yes. Su Yiyan was startled. She quickly shrank back into the quilt and shouted as if her butt was on fire. Sleep early. Good night. Perhaps it was because she felt more at ease with someone by her side, or perhaps it was because she was a little tired after the commotion caused by Huo Qinhuan. At first, Su Yiyan didn't know how to deal with this awkward situation, so she hid. But as she hid, she fell asleep in a daze. Because of this, she missed a certain someone's gaze that was still shockingly bright in the dark night, filled with gentleness and love, and that gentle and heart-stirring good night at the end. Outside the window the rain was still falling. Even the howling wind and roaring thunder were not enough to disturb the tranquility of the room. Dun Dun was curled up in its kennel in the corner of the room. It looked around. Even though the two of them were not doing anything, it still felt like a lot of dog food was being thrown at its face. To have two masters like these, it was really too difficult. Su Yiyan slept very soundly. Even the storm outside did not disturb her in the slightest. In the end, she was woken up by the noise outside the door. Young Master Su, please calm down. Calm down? My biological sister has been kidnapped? How do you expect me to calm down? Where's my sister? And where's Huo Qinhuan? Tell him to get out here. Brother? Su Yiyan heard this voice and instantly woke up. Her body reacted faster than her brain. She jumped off the bed and ran to open the door. At this time, Su Yuxuan and the others just happened to walk over to her side. Unexpectedly seeing the door open, they were all shocked. Su Yuxuan was the first to react. Just as he was about to show a surprised expression, he saw someone behind his sister. The expression on his face suddenly froze. Then it became gloomy, angry, and as dark as the bottom of a pot. Chapter 187. The earth-shattering roar almost collapsed the roof of the manor. It was conceivable that Su Yuxuan was on the verge of exploding. After being yelled at, Su Yiyin finally realized the seriousness of the matter. She turned her head stiffly and saw Huo, who had also just woken up. Su Yiyin immediately gasped and hurriedly explained, "Brother, don't misunderstand. Nothing happened between us." Unfortunately, Su Yuxuan was so angry that he lost his mind. He said without thinking, "Then why are you sleeping in the same room?" Because it rained heavily and thundered last night. I was afraid to be alone, so I asked him to come over and accompany me. Moreover, he slept on the floor while I slept on the bed. Nothing happened between us." As soon as Su Yiyin said that, everyone present was stunned, especially Huo. However, he quickly realized that Su Yiyin was defending him. The corners of his lips curled up unconsciously. "Why is Big Brother here? Don't call me that. Who's your brother?" Su Yuxuan was even angrier when he heard Huo call him that. He glared fiercely at Huo, stepped forward, grabbed his sister's hand and dragged her out. "Brother, what are you doing?" Su Yiyin was unprepared. She staggered a few steps forward and almost fell. Huo's eyes darkened slightly. He gave Gu Xiaoyang and the others a look. They understood and quickly stepped forward to separate the two of them. "What else can I do? I'll take you out of here." As soon as Su Yuxuan finished speaking, he was held up by two people and forcibly separated from his sister. "What are you doing? Let go of me. Brother?" Su Yiyin was also a little surprised by their actions. Before she could do anything, her hand was suddenly held by the person beside her. The person placed her hand in the palm of his hand and carefully stroked and rubbed it. "You're hurting her." There was a hint of anger in Qin Shu's tone. Only then did Su Yiyin notice that her wrist had turned red from the tugging just now. Her skin was fair to begin with, so the redness was a little shocking. Upon seeing this, Su Yuxuan also realized that he had been impulsive just now. He looked regretful not only because he had accidentally hurt his sister, but also because his impulsiveness had caused him to lose the initiative in front of Huo. Huo rubbed Su Yiyin's wrist for a while before finally dispersing the red marks on her wrist. Looking at how focused he was, those who didn't know would think that he was not holding a hand, but some unknown rare treasure. Su Yiyin's ears turned red. As soon as the other party loosened his grip, she quickly pulled her hand back. "My brother didn't do it on purpose. Tell them to let him go." In fact, Su Yiyin didn't need to say anything. Gu Xiaoyang and the others didn't dare to hold the future brother-in-law of their young master for too long. They had already loosened their grip a long time ago. The reason why they still maintained their original position was that Su Yuxuan was completely stunned by the two people's behavior of abusing single people as if there was no one else around. As soon as he came back to his senses, he broke free from their restraint. He snorted coldly and turned to leave. Upon seeing this, Su Yiyin hurriedly said, "I should go back. I'll come to see you next time if I have the chance." Huo thought that according to his future brother-in-law's reaction, the next time would not come so easily. With this thought, Huo suddenly leaned over to Su Yiyin and kissed her on the cheek before she could react. Su Yiyin blinked in surprise and blankly. Touching the place where she was kissed, her first reaction was, Chapter 188. Su Yuxuan was angry, but he couldn't just leave his sister in the wolf's den. After walking for a while, he stopped and prepared to go back and fight with Huo and the guys around him. Fortunately, before he could take action, Su Yiyin followed him. Su Yuxuan was stunned for a moment, and his expression became better. "They didn't stop you? Why would they stop me?" "Brother, nothing happened between me and him last night." "Since nothing happened, why didn't you return last night?" Su Yiyin choked and said with a guilty conscience, "Because we stayed on this island for too long last night and forgot the time. When we remembered, it was already very late. It's not safe to go out to sea late at night." Although she said that, Su Yuxuan still saw the loophole in her words at a glance. He coldly snorted, "Then who brought you to this island?" "Him." "And who brought you to this island to play and forget the time?" "It's also him." Su Yuxuan only asked these two questions and directly closed the coffin. Forget the time? I think he did it on purpose. He deliberately brought you here, deliberately left you on the island so late, and deliberately went to your room. Although her brother was right, Su Yiyin still tried her best to salvage the situation. Brother, there was really thunder and rain last night. It was very loud and I was afraid to be alone, so I asked him to come and accompany me. And you should have seen it just now. He slept on the floor and I slept on the bed. The first two things are fine, but it can't be that the thunder and lightning, the storm were all arranged by him, right? This time it was Su Yuxuan's turn to choke. Just as his sister said, no matter how powerful Hua Chenhuan was, he didn't have the ability to call the wind and summon the rain, nor the ability to control lightning. So all of this was just a coincidence? Even the heavens were on his side? Su Yuxuan's face darkened just as this thought popped up in his head. How infuriating. Su Yiyin saw her brother's face change several times, becoming darker and darker. She knew something was wrong and quickly changed the topic. Brother, why are you here? Shouldn't you be in the office at this time? The company is not as important as you. Su Yuxuan's face darkened as she snorted. You didn't come home last night and your phone couldn't be reached. Mom and Dad were so worried that they almost called the police. Su Yiyin looked embarrassed. Didn't anyone tell you that I'm not going back? It would have been better if Su Yiyin hadn't mentioned this. Now that she mentioned it, Su Yuxuan's face darkened even more. Of course there is. It's because he came to our house and told us that you wouldn't be coming back tonight and would be staying at his young master's place that Mom and Dad were even more nervous. You're not even married yet and you're already staying at his house. If this gets out, who knows what people will say about you. When they couldn't get through to Su Yiyin's phone, they were still worried that something might have happened to her. Now that they knew she was fine, they were relieved, but at the same time they had a new worry. Su Yiyin had already been subjected to a lot of criticism because of the incident between the Su family and the family Hua. If people found out about today's incident, who knew what kind of infuriating things they would say. Su Yiyin looked embarrassed. She smiled and said, "This place is so secluded. No one would know about it, right? Moreover, we're engaged. It's normal for us to live together and try to get married." Chapter 189. Su Yiyin's expression stiffened and she said awkwardly, "I was just giving an example." Su Yuxuan breathed a sigh of relief, but he still felt a little uncomfortable in his heart. He complained in a low voice, "You also know that this place is remote. How dare you foolishly follow him to such a remote place? Aren't you afraid that he will eat you up?" Su Yiyin said in her heart, "Didn't I fall asleep and wake up here? How could I have known that this place was so remote?" However, she couldn't say this out loud. If she really said it, she had no doubt that her elder brother would thoroughly beat Hua Chenhuan into a scheming boy and rush back to fight with him. "I'm fine, aren't I? How dare he? Let's see if Dad and I will break his legs." Su Yiyin. "You really don't need to do that." Su Yuxuan seemed to have realized this after shouting. His face darkened and he became more and more depressed. Anyway, that's what happened. After that guy went to our house to report, Dad and Mom didn't sleep the whole night. I didn't sleep either. I asked them to send me here at dawn. What Su Yuxuan didn't say was that when he received the news last night, his first reaction was to go out to sea to look for her, but he was rejected by Gu Xiaoyang and the others for the same reason. With a belly full of anger, he waited until dawn and immediately urged Gu Xiaoyang and the others to bring him over. Along the way, he stabbed the bastard who abducted his baby sister countless times in his heart. "It's my fault. I promise I won't make such a serious mistake again." Su Yuxuan snorted coldly, "Even if you want to, I'm afraid you won't be able to do it again." Su Yiyin understood in her heart that when she went back this time, she was afraid that she would be forced to be watched by her parents until she got married. The two of them took the boat back to the opposite shore. Su Yiyin's mobile phone finally had a signal, so she called home immediately. Her mother answered the phone. Surprisingly, she did not reprimand Su Yiyin for not coming home last night. She only said, "Don't do this next time." Then she let it go. Compared to Su Yuxuan's recent ruckus, this place was terrifyingly calm. Su Yiyin once suspected that this was the calm before the storm. However, what Su Yiyin didn't know was that before she called back, Su Yuxuan had already reported everything that she had seen and heard on the island. Cheng Xiuqin and the others already knew that nothing out of the ordinary had happened between the two of them, which was why they were so calm. Otherwise, Su Yuxuan would not be the only one with murderous intent. When Su Yiyin returned home, Cheng Xiuqin and the others had just gone out to pick up her uncle. There was no one at home, which made her greatly relieved. However, since her uncle was here, it was time to nourish him and her aunt. She wanted them to work hard and try to make a baby. Cough cough. Moreover, as the saying went, if you eat from others you have to be soft-hearted. She cooked a good meal to make the elders happy. They couldn't blame her for yesterday's incident, right? Su Yiyan went into the kitchen with a little thought. Just as she connected to the internet, she saw a few notifications. Normally, she wouldn't look at this kind of entertainment news. Just as she was about to open the news, she saw a photo at the top. It was a publicity photo of a girl group, and a familiar figure was in the center of the publicity photo. Her smile was gentle and bright. Those who didn't know would think that she was very popular now and had a promising future. Chapter 190. Xia Junxing had only mentioned it yesterday when he was reporting to her about the company's work. He said that when Jinping had dug her own grave by scamming others on the internet to gain popularity, she did not expect to meet a tough opponent and fail on the spot, causing a negative impact. She was then persuaded to leave the show by the program team. It had only been a day since she was invited back. Obviously she had used some unknown connections. Ning Chirue could no longer be her help, and she probably had not had time to hook up with her other spare tires. After thinking about it, it seemed that only Hua Xiaofeng could help her return to the stage at this time. Yes, last night the female lead sneaked into the family Hua in disguise to visit the male lead who was still in bed. The two of them reconciled after talking. Early this morning, the male lead contacted a senior member of the program team and sent the female lead back. Su Yiyan smiled coldly. She is indeed the child of the world with her own protagonist aura. Not to mention that the family Hua is strictly guarded, and Hua Qihan's birthday banquet was so big before. Most people should already know what she looks like. No matter how much she disguises herself, how can she change her face? It's so easy to let her in. It's like a game. The world's consciousness has always given preferential treatment to the protagonists. What the host needs to do is to break this preferential treatment. This could be seen from the fact that those outstanding big shots would either lose their intelligence or inexplicably rapidly weaken or even die when they met the two protagonists. Does the host want to replace her? Why should I replace her? She can stay if she wants. There are so many talented and good-looking people up there. If she has some ability, then so be it. If she doesn't have the ability and still insists on staying, she will only bring disgrace to herself. There was only one way to conquer others, and that was to work hard to make yourself better than anyone else. Opportunism was never a long-term solution. Even if you got some benefits for a while, there would be a day when you would suffer a backlash. Su Yiyan's sudden broadcast without warning could be said to be a pleasant surprise for those who were surfing the internet. Look at what I saw. Aha, while no one is around, I'm hugging the host and doing a 100-meter sprint. Upstairs, put her down. Where is there no one? I'm watching the streamer's live stream 24/7. If anyone wants to hug, it should be me. A group of people were arguing on the screen, fighting to take Su Yiyan away. In the end, it was the father of the number one on the leaderboard who stepped in. He gave her a few luxurious gifts and even replied in bold font on the screen. My. The noise on the screen stopped abruptly, and then the discussion became even more lively. Ah, this is a familiar scene. I knew it. The number one on the leaderboard in the previous live stream must have been hacked. Haha, that's right. The daddy who ranked first in the last live stream had a sudden change in style. Now that I think about it, I still can't accept it. Just as a bunch of similar comments were sent out, everyone saw two words floating across the top of the screen. Love you, the crowd? F***CK, did your account get hacked again? Wasn't he fine just now? Why did he change again? Is he suffering from a split personality? Boss, blink if you're kidnapped. This is the internet. How do you expect her to blink at you? Be good, baby. Don't be naughty. Return the phone to your mother. Su Yiyan was a little touched when she saw the words, love you. However, after seeing these funny comments, this touch was replaced by schadenfreude. She secretly wondered how a certain someone who had become a mother would feel at this moment. Chapter 191. A certain someone who had just become a mother didn't feel anything. No one could make him take off the vest that he had put on with all his might. After a while, Su Yiyan was still protective. She coughed softly and said, there are a little more dishes to cook today, so I entered the live broadcast room in advance. Thank you to the little cutie who has been squatting in the live broadcast room to support me. Next, let's start with the custom-made private medicinal cuisine for the lucky viewer who drew the last live broadcast, showu liver slices. The main herbs used are showu huangjing. Before Su Yiyan finished speaking, the screen was filled with complaints. Host, the Research Institute's announcement is talking about you, right? When will these medicinal herbs be officially sold? We've already prepared the money, but we can't even find a place to buy them. How can this be justified? Yes, we're still in a hurry to save lives. Please give us a specific time. This group of people had probably gone to bother the administrator of the Research Institute before, but they couldn't get anything out of him, so they could only come to Su Yiyan to try their luck. Su Yiyan frowned slightly and pondered for a moment before saying, due to the fact that these things are relatively rare, and the Research Institute doesn't have many finished products, a large part of them may be kept as seeds for priority cultivation. It will take some time for them to be sold publicly. Considering that some people's illnesses really can't be delayed, how about this? For some seriously ill patients whose lives are at stake, you can try to send a medical record to the Research Institute. After the Research Institute verifies that there are indeed medicinal herbs in the institute that can treat the disease, they will provide them with priority. As for how to verify and what standards to use for verification, the Research Institute had a ruler to measure. It wasn't something that Su Yiyan should worry about. However, I'll make it clear in advance that the effects of medicinal herbs on diseases vary from person to person. It may not be suitable for everyone. Please be mentally prepared for this. As soon as Su Yiyan said this, the audience in the live broadcast room boiled over again. Due to the support of the Research Institute, the number of viewers in her live broadcast room had already exceeded 1 million and was rapidly approaching 2 million. Her favorability was also constantly increasing. At this rate, she estimated that she would be able to smoothly advance to level 3 by the end of this live broadcast. Oof. I'm going to send the medical record to the Research Institute now. My grandfather's illness can't be delayed any longer. Sure enough, the key lies with the host. After all, the host is the main owner of the medicinal herbs. Speaking of which, my period is coming soon. Can I submit a medical record if I have severe menstrual cramps? I also want to ask, is there any medicine for toothache? Can you give me a medical record as well? The two above listen carefully. This is a critically ill patient whose life is at stake. Why are you adding to the chaos? I don't like what you're saying. Haven't you heard that toothache isn't an illness? Does it hurt like hell? In just a moment, the audience had already started arguing about what a life-threatening patient was. Su Yiyan did not stop them. He concentrated on washing the ingredients that he needed. He first added the fleeceflower root and sealwort into the pot and boiled them for about 10 minutes. Then he added the cut carrots, pig liver and abalone mushrooms. Tuber fleeceflower has the effect of tonifying liver and kidney, replenishing blood essence, black beard and hair, and strengthening muscles and bones. Sealwort also has a certain effect on the deficiency of spleen and stomach and early white beard and hair. When the audience heard this, their hearts skipped a beat. Black beard and hair. Was it what they thought it was? Paired with pig liver that replenishes blood, it has the effect of nourishing yin and blood as well as preventing hair loss. Chapter 192. F***CK, can this stuff really cure hair loss? Baldies, please save us. My long wait in this live broadcast room was not in vain. It's finally our turn. I beg the goddess of luck to bless me and let me draw this pot of soup. Did the person above forget that this is the medicinal cuisine exclusive to the lucky audience from the last live broadcast? Sob, I'm jealous. So, can I take it that the lucky audience from the last live broadcast was bald? Blind student, you've discovered something. What's wrong with being bald? Does being bald have no human rights? If not for the sake of living, who would stay up late and go bald at such a young age? It's too difficult to be bald. QAQ, she watched as a group of bitter baldies clamored on the bullet screen, asking Su Yiyan if she could show them some pity. Even if she couldn't popularize the medicinal herbs as soon as possible, she could at least draw a few more lucky audience members to give them some hope. Su Yiyan frowned slightly. She couldn't help but have some thoughts in her mind. She did have some of these medicinal herbs in her hands. However, as the number of viewers in her live broadcast room increased, her favorability rapidly increased. Not only did the area of her farm expand, but the soil had also been upgraded to a certain extent. As a result, the medicinal herbs she produced were much more effective than the ones she used before, not to mention the ones cultivated by the Research Institute. She was now reducing the amount of these ingredients she added into the medicinal cuisine. In order to be in line with the Research Institute, it was impossible to sell them separately. However, if she only sold the finished medicinal cuisine, Su Yiyan's mind was spinning 1,000 times, but her hands didn't stop moving. After making the fleece root lung slice, she stewed 2 soups as quickly as possible. Lotus seed Soralia pork loin soup and Angelica ginger lamb soup. Su Yiyan didn't introduce the 2 soups much when she made them. This made the audience, who had long been used to Su Yiyan explaining while making, feel very awkward. They spontaneously asked about the effects of the 2 soups, as well as the effects of some unknown medicinal herbs that they had seen used in them. Su Yiyan saw that she couldn't escape, so she blushed and said, "This is lotus seed Soralia pork loin soup. Lotus seed has appeared before and I've also introduced it before. Soralia has the effect of anti-aging and nourishing the nests. When paired with walnuts that nourish the kidneys, the 3 ingredients together have the effect of improving the balance of estrogen and enhancing, sexual desire." As soon as the introduction came out, the bullet screen was dead silent for a few seconds. Then it exploded like a blowout. F***CK, isn't that the same effect as? Sexy streamer driving online. I'm just watching a gourmet livestream. If not, I'll add a live stream of medical science and Chinese herbal medicine. Why did I suddenly turn a corner and start driving? Host, have you been infected by the host's father? Ha, look at how nervous the streamer is. It looks like this is your first time driving. Come on, let's have fun. Driver, open the door. This is not the bus to the kindergarten. I want to get off. The doors are welded shut. No one is allowed to get out of the car. Let us run to the finish line together. Sob, 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 the few people in front, be careful. If this goes too far, our livestream room will be blocked. Shrug hand. JPG, Su Yiyan had already expected these guys to react this way, so she planned to be vague in the beginning. She didn't expect that she still couldn't escape. Chapter 193. Unfortunately, these words had no effect on the audience, who were already laughing like crazy. Yes. It's not that exaggerated. We understand. See through, but don't say it out loud. It's not suitable to discuss this topic in public. Skip, look at this car. It's big and yellow and it drives very fast. Not bad. Su Yiyan was speechless. It seemed like they didn't listen at all. Su Yiyan sighed helplessly when she realized that she couldn't get through to them. She didn't continue to argue and started talking about the second soup. Things like moral integrity were really something that one would get used to over time. When she started talking about the first soup, Su Yiyan was at a loss. Now that she was talking about the second soup, she felt like she had nothing left to lose. Angelica ginger mutton soup. Angelica can nourish the blood and regulate the essence. Mutton can nourish the kidneys. Paired with ginger to dispel the cold, it has a great effect on kidney yang deficiency. Kidney yang deficiency? I think I know something. I think so too. Me too. A lot of meaningful comments floated through the bullet screen. Finally, an audience member pointed it out. Host, are you planning to make a baby with your husband? Su Yiyan's face turned completely red when she saw the bullet screen. This batch of audience members was really bad. Every one of them had such a wide range of thoughts. Huan, who was watching the live broadcast, saw this and her face darkened. Even Zui Yanbai, who was accompanying her today, was implicated. Fortunately, he quickly calmed down and said in a low voice, "As far as I know, Miss Su's uncle should be arriving at the Su family's house today." Huan raised her eyebrows and motioned for him to continue. Miss Su's uncle and aunt have been married for nearly 20 years, but they haven't been able to conceive a child. I saw that Miss Su's previous live broadcasts were full of dishes that nourished women's bodies and increased the chances of pregnancy. Judging from all these 2 soups are probably prepared for her uncle and aunt. After listening to his explanation, Huan's expression finally improved a little. Zui Yanbai also breathed a sigh of relief. He was glad that he had been paying attention to the movements of the Su family and saved his worthless life at the critical moment. Coincidentally, Su Yiyan could not help coughing lightly and explained awkwardly, "It's not me, it's the elders in my family." So it's an elder. I'm a little disappointed. The streamer had said before that she was already married. Was she really not going to try and make a baby? I can't be the host's husband, but I can be the host's child? Beast, what are you trying to do to the streamer's child? Why are you so agitated? I just want to say that I can be the host's in-law. What are you thinking? Nose picking? Is the person who asked the streamer to make a baby stupid? If the streamer is pregnant, it means that she has to take care of the fetus. Can she still broadcast so frequently while taking care of the fetus? Be clear about the main points. Don't lose sight of the big picture for the small. F***ck, I didn't think of that. Su Yiyan. Hey, that's enough. You guys were just making babies before and now you're starting to nurture a fetus? Do you have to be so imaginative? As the person involved, I can't keep up. Fortunately, the last viewer's words woke everyone up. The army of people who wanted to have babies was quickly defeated by the shocking idea of, the streamer might not broadcast live if she's pregnant. They all closed their mouths and, as Su Yiyan wished, began to complain about Su Yiyan's elders. Chapter 194. Su Yiyan looked at the screen full of viewers who wanted to be her relatives. The corners of her lips curled up slightly, but she did not say anything. This was the longest live broadcast Su Yiyan had ever done. It took about 3 hours before Su Yiyan finally finished cooking all the dishes. She packed the dishes that she had gotten from Ning Chirui and Huo Chenhuan and sent them out. She almost collapsed. The thoughts in her heart were magnified countless times at this moment. She could not go on like this. She had to shoulder this burden before she died from overwork. Before that, she had to find an ally first. The first person that Su Yiyan targeted was her biological uncle who had come from the same place. As the saying goes, a nephew resembles his uncle. From Su Yuxuan, one could tell what kind of person Su Yiyan's uncle was. It was not that the two looked alike, but that their temperaments were similar. They were the kind of people who looked gentle and refined on the surface but were actually evil. Moreover, they were very protective of their family members. No matter how awe-inspiring they were outside at home, they were gentle and warm men who put their family members first. Like Qin Shueru, Cheng Juanhao, who had been married for many years without children, had long regarded his sister's children as his own. From the moment he saw Cheng Shuqin and the others, he either asked his wife or asked why the two children did not come with them. Cheng Shuqin and the others interrupted and told him frankly at first, but thinking that he was tired from the journey, they only replied vaguely, "They have something to do." Cheng Juanhao was suspicious but he did not ask much. He followed the others back to the Su family's house and smelled a special fragrance. "What's this smell? It smells so good." Cheng Shuqin and the others' eyes lit up slightly. They smiled faintly and said, "It should be Yin cooking." Cooking? During this time, Cheng Juanhao learned from his wife that his precious niece had recently learned to cook, and the food she cooked tasted good. His wife, who originally had no appetite and was rapidly losing weight, gained a few kilograms of weight. Her complexion was also much better than before. However, Cheng Juanhao couldn't help but feel a little dazed when he smelled it personally. Coincidentally, Su Yiyan had finished cleaning up the mess and came out of the kitchen. "Uncle?" Su Yiyan quickly ran over and gave him a hug. "You must be tired from the journey. I made some dishes to welcome Uncle. If there's nothing else, let's eat first." Su Yuxuan was carrying 2 plates of food in front of Su Yiyan. Her eyes lit up when she saw them. Only the heavens knew how torturous it was for him to stay outside for the past few hours without being able to eat. "Since you're all back, let's eat." As soon as Cheng Shuqin and the others heard that it was time to eat, they immediately left Cheng Juanhao, the main character of the welcome party, and gathered around the table like little chicks waiting to be fed. Cheng Juanhao, who was a little unaccustomed to their style, was pulled over by his brother-in-law in the end. However, he soon understood why they were acting so abnormally. One after another, fragrant dishes came out of the kitchen like flowing water. Even Cheng Juanhao couldn't help but swallow his saliva, let alone Cheng Shuqin and the others who had already eaten other delicacies. Their eyes were green with envy. After the dishes there was soup. There were too many things to cook today. In order to save time, Su Yiyan directly made a large stew pot that could stew several small pots at once. She stewed a pot of soup for everyone in the family. Chapter 195. This one is for Auntie and this one is for Uncle. Su Yiyan brought out the soup and distributed it to everyone. The others were used to it and they just stared at the soup in front of them. It was Cheng Juanhao's first time seeing such a scene. He looked at the soup in front of him and then at his wife's soup in confusion. Why is the soup different? This is a tonic soup with medicinal herbs. Men and women have different tonics, so the soup is naturally different. Cheng Juanhao did not know much about this, so he asked suspiciously, "There's such a thing?" "Of course. Why would I lie to you, Uncle?" Cheng Juanhao nodded and did not say anything else. On the other hand, old Master Cheng glanced at their soup. He thought about how his granddaughter had been nourishing Qin Shueru's body all this time, so he could more or less guess the effect of these soups. He lowered his head slightly and hid the smile on his face. Cheng Xiuqin and the others could more or less guess this, so they smiled and tried to smooth things over. What does it matter if it's the same or not? The key is whether it tastes good or not. Speaking of which, it's all thanks to you today. Although Yen Yen usually cooks, it's not as sumptuous as today. We'll talk about other things later. Let's eat first. With such a big table of dishes, it won't taste good when it gets cold. After Cheng Xiuqin said that, they no longer paid attention to the 2 bowls of soup in front of Cheng Juanhao and his wife. They focused on eating. Cheng Juanhao did not eat much on the way here, so he was indeed a little hungry now. Coincidentally, the dish in front of him was his favorite fish, so he picked up a mouthful and put it in his mouth without thinking. In the next second, an indescribable excitement rushed from his tongue to his head, causing his entire face to turn red. This. Qin Shuiru saw him like this and quickly poured a glass of cold water for him. Cheng Juanhao drank half the glass of cold water before he finally calmed down. He slurred and said, "This fish? Why is this fish so spicy?" Qin Shuiru had been married to him for so many years, but this was the first time she saw him in such a sorry state. She could not help but laugh. "There's chili in it." "Chili? Those red ones are much spicier than ginger." Su Yiyan pointed at the red chili peppers on the plate. "My brother and dad both like spicy food, so I made more spicy dishes. If uncle doesn't like the taste, there's also a plate of sweet and sour fish. It's lighter." When Cheng Juanhao heard what she said, he didn't feel too conflicted. He first tried the sweet and sour fish, and the taste was indeed a little bland. Although it was delicious, he didn't like sweet things. After a moment of hesitation, he reached for the spicy steamed crucian carp. This time at least he was mentally prepared. While it was spicy, he also felt that this fish tasted better than any fish he had eaten before. The first mouthful was a little stimulating, but the second mouthful started to get used to it. The third mouthful was enough, and by the fourth mouthful he couldn't stop anymore. Su Yiyan raised his head while holding his bowl and saw his uncle frequently reaching for the spicy dishes on the table. His face was red from eating, but he still couldn't bear to put down his chopsticks. Great, another spicy person who was captivated by chili peppers. Fortunately, she would make some tea for them to drink every day to reduce internal heat. Otherwise, they would have been tortured to death by constipation and other side effects. Chapter 196. Cheng Juanhao touched his bulging belly. For the first time in his life he felt what it felt like to be too full. At the same time he finally understood why his wife didn't want to stay at home after a few days. If he could eat such delicious food every day, he also wanted to stay here for a long time. Once people were full, it was not easy to think about those bad things. Su Yiyan suddenly made so many dishes today. On one hand it was to welcome Cheng Juanhao. On the other hand, she wanted to use this opportunity to please Cheng Xiuqin and others so that they wouldn't take last night's incident to heart. Cheng Xiuqin and others obviously knew this. For the sake of the table full of food, they didn't say anything to Su Yiyan. After the meal they went to the yard to stroll around to digest. Cheng Juanhao wanted to follow them, but Su Yiyan stopped him first. "Uncle, I have something to discuss with you." Cheng Juanhao was stunned. Looking at his niece's bright smile, he was a little puzzled. "What is it?" "I want to open a restaurant." "Open a restaurant? What kind of restaurant?" "A medicinal cuisine restaurant." Cheng Juanhao was confused. "What's a medicinal cuisine?" "It's a little troublesome to explain." "What do you think of the food just now?" "It's delicious. Yen Yen's dishes are 100 times better than those in high-end restaurants outside." "Then if I take them out to sell?" Cheng Juanhao grasped the key point. "You want to open a restaurant?" "Yes." A medicinal cuisine restaurant could be considered a kind of restaurant. Cheng Juanhao thought for a moment. "Then why are you looking for me? I heard that uncle has a shop in the city that has been abandoned and unused. You want to buy that shop?" "Yes." Cheng Juanhao said without thinking. "Okay. That shop was left behind by your grandmother. It has been abandoned all these years. If you want it, you can use it. I originally planned to give it to you as a dowry when you get married." Su Yiyan was slightly stunned. She hurriedly said, No. I can't take such a shop for free. How about this? After I open the shop, uncle, you can be counted as a shareholder. When the shop is profitable, I'll give you a bonus." Cheng Juanhao frowned and was a little unhappy. "We're family. Why are you being so polite?" "Although we're family, even blood brothers debts clearly. Uncle, if you say so, I'll be embarrassed to ask you for help." Cheng Juanhao heard her unspoken words and shook his head helplessly. "Tell me, what else do you want me to help you with?" I definitely can't open the shop alone. I'm short of manpower. After all, there's a layer of separation between us. I don't really trust the people outside. I was just wondering if Uncle could transfer a few trustworthy people from the Qing family to help out. You can rest assured about their salary, we will definitely not treat them unfairly. Qing Juanhao was almost amused by her. You haven't even opened the shop yet, but you're already acting like a boss? Uncle. Okay. I won't talk about it. It's not good to make mistakes when opening a restaurant. I'll go back after a while and get you some people. Is that okay? I know Uncle loves me the most. Then I'll put all these into the bonus and give it to you together. Didn't I say you don't have to be so polite? No, I must. In the end, Qing Juanhao couldn't win against Su Yiyan. He reluctantly agreed to Su Yiyan's proposal to get him to become a shareholder. Chapter 197. Grandpa, why are you here? Grandpa Cheng snorted with a straight face. I've been here the whole time. You were just too engrossed in your conversation and didn't notice me. Su Yiyan smiled guiltily. You heard everything just now. Yes. What do you think of my idea? Can a medicinal cuisine restaurant be opened? Of course it can be opened. The seeds of the research institute have only been planted not long ago. The only products that have matured are the ones you sent over. You're the only one who owns these things before they're fully circulated. The people at the research institute know the effects of these things very well. If you're willing to take them out to open a medicinal cuisine restaurant, they'll be more than happy to support your restaurant. Su Yiyan's eyes lit up slightly. If the research institute could really support her shop as her grandpa said, then her small shop would be a small shop with a strong backer. If anything happened in the future, she would have something to rely on. However, opening a restaurant isn't like sitting in an office. I'm afraid it'll be very tiring. Su Yiyan had already thought about this. She chuckled and said, It's fine. I've already asked my uncle for help. I'll find more people to help when the time comes. At the very least, I'll make a limited sale. I'll only make 100 or 200 servings a day. Isn't that what those high-end restaurants do? I know what I'm doing. I won't tire myself out. Naive. Grandpa Ching knew his granddaughter very well. He was tough when he was tough, but he was also really soft when he was soft-hearted. She had already opened a restaurant. When people came to ask for help, she might really tire herself out. Su Yiyan smiled and didn't comment. Grandpa Ching knew that she didn't take his words to heart. He continued to persuade her. It's a blessing and a curse that these things are in your hands. You may face a lot of trouble opening this restaurant. Some of it you may not be able to solve. Su Yiyan's smile faded slightly. She nodded and said, Yes, I know. Even so, you still want to open it? Yes. Since these things are in my hands, I have the responsibility to make the best use of them. Firstly, I can help some people by opening this shop. Secondly, I want to have a business that I've worked hard to build. A business that you worked hard for? Old Master Cheng's face darkened. Didn't your parents leave you some assets? Yes, not long ago, brother gave me an entertainment company to try out, but I don't think it's enough. Not enough. Old Master Cheng's expression was slightly better, but he was still a little serious. Do you think one company is too little? Grandfather, you misunderstood me. Su Yiyan knew what he was thinking. He laughed and said, I just want to do something that I want to do and can do. I want to experience it and make myself better and better. Only then, can I be worthy of him. At first, Old Master Shen was pleased with Su Yiyan's progress, but when he heard the last sentence, his face darkened. Su Yiyan's small face blushed slightly. Under the old man's intense gaze, she said embarrassedly, It's. Seeing her like this, the old man immediately understood. Family horse kid? Yes. Chapter 198. Su Yiyan looked at her grandfather, who rolled up his sleeves and looked like he was ready to hit someone at any time, as if his Achilles heel had been poked. She was stunned for a moment, then quickly went forward and hugged his arm, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. No one said anything to me. I think Chen Huan is too good, so. Grandpa Cheng's expression became slightly better, but he still curled his lips and said sourly, What's so good about him? Su Yiyan could tell that he was not convinced. She held back her laughter and said, He's good in all aspects. He's good-looking, gentle to me, loyal and protective. Grandpa Cheng could not stand it anymore. How do you know he's loyal? How long have you known each other? Be careful not to be deceived. I believe him. He won't lie to me. A man who had silently protected her for a lifetime, sacrificed everything to avenge her after her death, and even left everything behind to die generously after his revenge. If he was not loyal, then there was no one else in the world who was loyal. Find a time to ask him out. I want to see how good this man who can make you praise him so much is. Su Yiyan smiled. Okay. Grandpa Qing calmed down after a while, then suddenly asked, "Why did you choose your uncle's shop? If I remember correctly, your parents have many shops under their name. If you ask, they should be very happy to give it to you." My parents do have many shops under their name, but those shops are not as good as my uncle's. Just because of this. Su Yiyan was slightly startled, then jokingly said, "Grandpa, do you think my medicinal cuisine can make money? If a unique and useful thing can't make money, what else can? Since it can make money, it's better to keep the goodies within the family. Something that can make money anyway. It's better to give it to your own family than to give it to outsiders, isn't it?" Grandpa Qing looked at the child who could be said to have been brought up by him, and suddenly realized that the little girl who liked to run around behind him had really grown up. Although the Qing family was a scholarly family, they had a wide network of connections and had many good friends. Thus they had offended many people as well. In recent years, some people who didn't like them saw that he was getting old and Qing Juanhao didn't have a successor. On the surface, they didn't dare to do anything, but behind their backs, they instigated some of the side branches of the family to have other thoughts, stirring up a foul atmosphere within the family. Although the Qing family had connections, sometimes it wasn't enough to solve a problem just by relying on connections. When it came to money, a single copper coin could really drive a hero to his death. Old Master Qing thought that he and Qing Juanhao had kept all these troubles a secret, and Qing Xiuqin and the others didn't know about it either. He didn't expect that a little girl like Su Yiyan would see through it. Qing Juanhao did not know the value of the Chinese herbs in Su Yiyan's hands. He thought that Su Yiyan just wanted to play with her on a whim. He would not lose much money anyway. As for the dividends that Su Yiyan mentioned, he was very pleased with her intentions, but he didn't take it to heart. Grandpa Qing was different. He knew very well that if Su Yiyan could really open the shop and keep it going, then the dividends would be beyond Qing Juanhao's imagination. "Yin, you're a good child. Your uncle and aunt didn't dote on you in vain all these years." Su Yiyan smiled. "Uncle and aunt dote on me, but don't you? I know who's good to me in this world." Chapter 199. De Lu was an old programmer in Qinyuan Technology's technology department. He was in his early 30s and had been in the technology department for 5 to 6 years. To an ordinary man, this age was considered the prime of his life. De Lu asked himself if he felt the same way. However, the Mediterranean Sea above his head, which was as shiny as a braised egg, had made him age by more than 10 years. He did not look like a young, handsome uncle whose daughter had just entered kindergarten. Instead, he looked like an old, middle-aged wretched man. Because of this, De Lu was often despised by his wife. He was even glad that he had married early. Otherwise, with his current appearance, he probably would not even be able to find a wife. 2 days ago, when it was close to getting off work, the company suddenly issued an urgent task. They were to go to the future lady boss's live stream to block some malicious ghostwriters. They were also to find out their IP addresses, chat records with their employers, and a series of chain information. De Lu touched his little Mediterranean Sea egg. He was actually a little resistant to working overtime, but when he thought of the high overtime pay, he was a little tempted. His precious little princess had just started kindergarten. There were many places where she would need money in the future. He wanted to earn as much as he could now. After all, he had a wife and a daughter now. So what if he was bald? With this thought in mind, De Lu went all out. Not only did he block a lot of accounts, but he also responded to his boss's call. He used the identification of his wife, his 7 aunts and various relatives to register an account on the future lady boss's livestream. He followed the future lady boss's livestream and became one of her fans. Perhaps the heavens took pity on him for going bald at such a young age. When the lady boss said that she would pick a lucky viewer from the livestream and tailor a medicinal cuisine for him, De Lu was watching the livestream with his wife's account. In the end, he did not pick his own account, but his wife's account was picked. De Lu was stunned. He could not believe that an African mafioso like him, who had never won a lottery in his 30-odd years of life, would have a day when his luck would change. Ahem, his wife's account was also his account. He had won the lottery. There was nothing wrong with that. After the joy, De Lu was a little conflicted and embarrassed. He sent a photo of his bald head and began to wait anxiously. During the second livestream, he followed the livestream so that he could see what kind of medicinal cuisine the other party had prepared for him. Delu, it's time. Aren't you going to take some nutrient fluids and find a meeting room to sleep? I still have a new project in the afternoon, and I'll probably have to work overtime again tonight. The colleague sitting next to Delu saw that it was time to get off work, but Delu was still sitting there motionless, so he kindly reminded him. Delu forced a smile. You go first. I have something to take care of. I'll be there soon. Then I'll leave first. After that person left, the other colleagues in the office also left one after another. In the end, only Delu was left. Right at this moment, a clear greeting came from outside. Excuse me, are you Mr. Liu? Your takeout is here. Delu's eyes lit up and he rushed out as fast as he could. It was a small bowl of sliced steamed mushroom liver. There wasn't much of it, so Delu cherished it very much. After drinking a few mouthfuls of soup, it was gone. When he was done, he even smacked his lips as if he hadn't had enough. After savoring the aftertaste, he remembered to touch the top of his head. It was still smooth to the touch. He was a little disappointed, but also felt that it was within his expectations. Chapter 200. After adjusting his state of mind, Delu threw the matter to the back of his mind. He did not expect the change to happen the next day. What's wrong? Delu looked up and met his wife's confused and surprised gaze. Is your head my head? Delu was stunned. He remembered the bowl of soup he drank the day before and thought that he had grown hair overnight. He excitedly reached out to touch his head, but he could not feel anything. Delu was speechless. Delu's wife blinked. She also felt that it was unlikely. She coughed awkwardly and said, Maybe it's just my imagination. I feel like the spot on your head has darkened a little. Delu's emotions were like a roller coaster. He did not dwell on the matter and went to the company dispiritedly. He thought that was the end of the matter. He did not expect that in the next few days, the bald spot on his head would change little by little. On the morning of the 5th day, a patch of hard hair grew out of his barren head. F***ck, my hair is really growing. It's really growing. Delu looked at his changed head in the mirror. His eyes were hot and he almost rushed out to tell the world that he finally had hair. However, he did not need to tell the world. Anyone with eyes could see the change. Delu did not say it out loud, but deep down he felt inferior. Usually he would only dare to go to work with a wig. But today he did not wear a wig. He openly revealed his bald head. No, it wasn't bald. There was actually a layer of black stubble on top of his head. The famous balding boss in the design department had hair. The news spread like wildfire. It quickly spread throughout the technical department and even gradually spread to the entire company. What were programmers most afraid of these days? Baldness. Especially baldness that resembled the Mediterranean Sea. All four sides remained except for the bald spot in the middle. It looked like a smooth tea egg. It was even more embarrassing than being completely bald. It was fine that everyone was bald. They had agreed to bear the burden of baldness together, but he secretly grew hair himself. Unavoidably, Delu became the main focus of all the programmers in the technical department. Not long after he started work, he received countless inquiries. Ever since Big Lou joined the company, this was the first time he had enjoyed such treatment, so he didn't hide anything. He told her everything in detail about how he was selected in the future lady boss's live stream, how he drank a bowl of medicinal cuisine personally made by the future lady boss, and how his hair grew out a few days later. Everyone looked at each other when they heard this. Then, someone suddenly said, Previously, Director, you seem to have said that he could help us ask for Lady Boss's medicinal cuisine as company benefits? As soon as this was said, the entire technical department was in an uproar. Therefore, that afternoon, when Yu Zian went to Zuyenbai to hand over his work to Qin Yuan, he was met with countless programmers who were eagerly eyeing him. President Yu, you said before that you could help us get the Lady Boss to treat our illness through the back door as an employee benefit. Is that still valid? Yu Zian froze for a moment, feeling a little awkward. At that time he had just said it casually. Considering that his boss's identity hadn't been exposed yet, and the lady boss still didn't know that Onlooker was a business under his young master's name, this matter wouldn't be so easy to achieve. Chapter 201. At this time, Su Yiyan still didn't know that someone was in deep trouble because of her and was waiting for her to rescue him. Since she had already made up her mind to open a physical store, Su Yiyan didn't delay for too long. That day she coaxed and pestered Qing Juanhao to sign a restaurant share agreement with her. She contacted a renovation team and started to officially renovate the long-abandoned store the next day. Su Yiyan's father and the others were shocked when they learned that Su Yiyan wanted to open her own store. However, they didn't object. They felt that this was a good opportunity for Su Yiyan to practice. They were a little worried that she would be tired after opening the store, but they supported her decision with both hands and feet. They even offered to support her with funds. Su Yiyan didn't accept. She only asked for some trustworthy people from the two of them. When the renovation team was done, they would come over to help her. This wasn't difficult for the two of them, so they agreed on the spot. In Su Yiyan's era, although some cultural heritages were declining and most of the animals and plants had gone through a certain period of replacement, most of them were extinct. However, in some aspects, it was still much more advanced than the era in Wen Jingping's previous life. The most obvious difference was technology and infrastructure. In the 21st century, a store that would take a few months to renovate could be completed in a week with advanced equipment and special materials. Moreover, most of the materials used were non-polluting and non-toxic. Basically, it didn't take long for ventilation to move in. The more troublesome part was the design of the store's renovation. Fortunately, there were many design drawings in the system for reference. Su Yiyan chose the best one among them and left the rest to the renovation team. On the 5th day of the renovation team's official construction, Su Yiyan woke up early in the morning and made some porridge and steamed buns for breakfast. Just as he sat down, he saw his uncle and aunt lovingly holding each other's hands as they walked down the stairs with rosy faces. Qing Xiuqin and the others also noticed them. They looked at each other and joked, "Why did you come down so late today? Did you stay up too late last night? Mom, aren't you talking nonsense? Just by looking at Auntie's refreshed look, you should know how hard Uncle worked last night." Mr. Su glanced at his eldest son calmly and said without batting an eyelid, "If you're so envious of your uncle, hurry up and find yourself one." Su Yuxuan choked. He rubbed his nose and said helplessly, "It's not like you can find it just because you want to." Qing Xiuqin rolled his eyes at his eldest son, his face full of disappointment. "You may not be able to find it if you want to, but if you don't look for it, you definitely won't be able to find it." Su Yuxuan. That might not be the case. When Su Yuxuan saw that breakfast time was about to devolve into a wedding banquet, he looked at Su Yiyan pleadingly, hoping that she could save him. Su Yiyan suppressed her laughter and glanced at him. In the end, she pitied him and pushed the red bean porridge that she had prepared for Qin Shueru. "It's okay, Auntie. Don't listen to my brother's nonsense. You and Uncle are husband and wife. Husband and wife have to do what husband and wife should do. We all understand." It would have been better if Su Yiyan didn't say that. Once she said that, Qin Shueru's ears turned red. She wanted to bury her head in the bowl and not come out. Logically speaking, at her age, she didn't have much passion for certain things. Chapter 202. The medicinal cuisine that Su Yiyan had prepared for her had the effect of nourishing the nest, and it was able to nourish her body's ability in this aspect. In addition, during this period of time, Qing Xiuqin would take her out for a walk whenever he was free. They would go shopping, buy things and gather with other friends. With more things to do, her life was more fulfilling. Once her life was fulfilled, she would not be bothered by those troublesome things anymore, and her mentality would be much more relaxed. Both physically and mentally, Qin Shueru's complexion was much better than when she first arrived. Qing Juanhao saw this and was happy in his heart. He smiled and did not refute their teasing. He saw the changes in Qin Shueru, and his body seemed to have changed in the past 2 days. To sum it up, the two of them had found some small memories of their youth, and they had accidentally gone a little overboard. It was a little embarrassing to say it, but they were husband and wife. It was natural for them to do this kind of thing, so there was nothing awkward about it. After the family chatted and laughed and had breakfast, Su Yiyan prepared to go to the medicinal cuisine restaurant. She did not expect to receive a call from Xia Junxing before she stepped out of the house. What happened? A female artist in the company had an accident. She's now in the hospital. Hospital? Injured? Is it serious? Su Yiyan frowned and could not help but feel worried. If it was an ordinary injury and hospitalization, Xia Junxing would not call her like this. It's not serious, but she's participating in a talent show. I'm afraid she has to withdraw after being hospitalized. Talent show? The one that Wen Jingping is participating in? Su Yiyan seemed to have sensed something. Does this have anything to do with Wen Jingping? Yes. Xia Junxing was silent for a moment, then told her the whole story. The injured female artist was called Yu Yushi. She was one of the 7 people sent by Dongqing to participate in the show. She was considered to be quite capable among the 7 people, and her ranking had always been in the upper tier. Last week they had just gone through a big elimination of 60 to 20. Yu Yushi and 2 other female artists in the company had smoothly entered the top 20. Originally, a female artist from a company that had a good relationship with her could also enter the top 20. However, because Wen Jingping, who had originally been ordered to withdraw, used some tricks and was forced back, the female artist was forcefully squeezed out of her slot and regretfully withdrew from the competition. Yu Yushi was so angry that she ran straight to Wen Jingping to find trouble. She tore off the fig leaf in front of everyone and scolded her for being shameless. She should have scrammed as far away as possible after withdrawing from the competition. Why did she have to come back? Moreover, with her looks and ability, she was not worthy of being in the top 20. Yu Yushi only used her mouth to scold others the entire time and did not make a move. When Jingping's eyes turned red after being scolded by her, she still looked like a white lotus who had been bullied. A girl who had a good relationship with her and had a bad temper could not stand by and pushed Yu Yushi. Yu Yushi was already angry. After being pushed, she exploded on the spot and started fighting with the girl. This development was out of everyone's expectations. The others were a little confused at first, but later they were worried that they would be punished for causing a big scene, so they quickly went forward to pull the 2 of them apart. During the pushing and shoving, the girl who stood up for Wen Jingping accidentally knocked Yu Yushi off the stage. Chapter 203. Su Yiyan's eyes darkened when she heard Xia Junxing's words. She asked in a low voice, "What's the name of the girl who stood up for Wen Jingping?" "I think her name is Si Mingyu." "Si Mingyu?" Su Yiyan's eyes flickered. "Is she also in the top 20? "Yes." Xia Junxing was not stupid. He quickly reacted when he heard Su Yiyan's words. "You're suspecting?" Su Yiyan chuckled and did not answer directly. She already felt that the name Yu Yushi was somewhat familiar. Now that she heard Si Mingyu's name and knew that she was also in the top 20, Su Yiyan was even more certain. She had never encountered this in her previous life, but it happened to be mentioned in the original novel provided by the system. Si Mingyu was the first friend that Wen Jingping met when she participated in the variety show. She was straightforward and loyal. To put it nicely, she was simple, but to put it bluntly, she was straightforward and a little stupid. Wen Jingping saw through her character at a glance. When she took the initiative to come over and express her goodwill, she was very gentle and warm. After a while, the 2 of them became very good friends. In the original novel, Yu Yushi did find trouble with Wen Jingping. However, at that time, Wen Jingping did not deliberately try to take advantage of the new streamer. Instead, she was slapped in the face by the new streamer and was even persuaded to leave the show by the production team. There was also no incident where Wen Jingping relied on her connections to replace the person who should have been shortlisted. The way Yu Yushi went to find trouble with Wen Jingping was considered gentler. Yu Yushi's personality was similar to Si Mingyu's. She had a bad temper and looked down on those who were not worthy of the position and had no ability but insisted on staying because of connections. She found a private time to ask Wen Jingping out alone and said a few words to her. In summary, she hoped that she would retreat in the face of difficulties and take the initiative to withdraw from the show and give the position to those who were better than her. In the original novel, Wen Jingping was the female lead. Everything was described from her point of view. Naturally, it emphasized how hard she worked and how motivated she was. For someone who came to find trouble with her, it was written as harshly as possible. At the same time, it made people feel sorry for her and annoyed with the character of Yu Yushi. Perhaps it was because of the filter of an enemy's enemy being a friend. Su Yiyan felt that there was nothing wrong with Yu Yushi's words. It was just that she used the wrong method and pushed herself into a disadvantageous position. After being scolded by Yu Yushi, Wen Jingping felt very wronged and ran to find Si Mingyu with red eyes. Seeing her like this, Si Mingyu naturally couldn't help but ask a few questions. Wen Jingping was unwilling to say at first, but later on, she told her about Yu Yushi looking for trouble with her intermittently. She even deliberately skipped over some important points and only extracted a few of Yu Yushi's more aggressive sentences. Originally, the meaning of a sentence could completely change if the tone was different, let alone take it out of context like Wen Jingping. Si Mingyu was filled with anger when she heard it. Naturally, she wanted to stand up for her best friend. She rushed over to quarrel with Yu Yushi. In the end, they quarreled and fought. Yu Yusher was injured and was forced to withdraw from the show. Si Mingyu was also persuaded to withdraw by the production team because she hurt someone. Su Yiyan felt that this scene was quite out of place when she roughly watched it. Now that she knew that both of them were outstanding seeded contestants in the top 20, she could not help but have other thoughts. Chapter 204. Su Yiyan pondered for a moment and asked again, did the two of them have an argument on stage? Yes, but it wasn't during the recording. It was after the recording was completed. Su Yiyan took a deep breath and muttered, was there a video camera still on at the scene? Or a surveillance camera? There should be. I've already asked someone to get it. After all, their company had invested in this show, so it shouldn't be a problem to get the surveillance video. Moreover, something had happened to their artist, so the production team really should give them an explanation. Remember to make a copy for me when you get it? It's best if it's from Wen Jingping's perspective. After hearing Su Yiyan's words, Xia Junxing actually had a trace of doubt in his heart. Okay, I'll get them to do it as soon as possible. Okay. After Su Yiyan responded, she didn't hear anything for a long time. She frowned slightly and took the initiative to ask, is there anything else? Yu Yusher is hospitalized. Do you want to come and see her? Su Yiyan's first reaction when she heard Xia Junxing's words was, who is this artist? Why does the big boss have to go and see her in person when she's hospitalized? Who's this person? I only found out today that her sister is Yu Jingyu, her biological sister. Yu Jingyu? Su Yiyan felt that the name was a little familiar. After thinking for a while, she finally remembered, the general manager of the jewelry group, Yu Group? She's the second daughter of the Yu family? Yes. Su Yiyan really didn't know whether to laugh or cry. One Ning Chirue was not enough, and now there was the second daughter of the Yu Group. Did her company burn incense or offend the god of fortune in her previous life? Our entertainment company is really full of crouching tigers and hidden dragons. Xia Junxing was also a little helpless. If it was an ordinary artist, he could just go and take a look with his status, but if it involved the Yu Group, his status was a little weak. Then you see, I'll go. I can also take a look at this legendary Iron Lady. The Yu family, a jewelry family, only had two daughters in this generation. The eldest daughter, Yu Jingyu, had followed her parents into the company for an internship early on. In a few years, she had quickly gained a foothold in the company and even in the jewelry industry. Women had a natural advantage and sensitivity when it came to jewelry. In addition, Miss Yu's personality was not inferior to those men, so she was known as the Iron Lady of the business world. Compared to her thunderous reputation, the second Miss of the Yu family was much more low-key. There was almost no news about her to the outside world. Su Yiyan also didn't expect that she would actually hide in her own company. Could it be that the rich young masters and young ladies all entered the entertainment circle to play these days? However, Yu Yusher's identity reminded her of something else. In the original novel, Wen Jingping was worried that Yu Yusher and the management company behind her would find trouble with her after this incident. She even told Huo Xiaofeng about it. When Huo Xiaofeng found out, he gave her an idea and asked her to bring a bunch of reporters to the hospital to visit Yu Yusher. In front of so many cameras, Wen Jingping humbled herself and apologized to Yu Yusher. Moreover, she apologized on behalf of Si Mingyu, so Yu Yusher couldn't be too harsh. After all, people tended to side with the weak. If Yu Yusher really didn't let it go, her original victim status would probably be stripped. To put it bluntly, it was moral blackmail. If someone apologized to you, you would be magnanimous if you forgave them. If you didn't forgive them, you would be calculative. Chapter 205. However, in the eyes of the readers, she was a cannon fodder villain and a bad person. When she was punished, the readers would think that the female lead did a good job and was gentle and kind. Yu Yusher suffered such a huge loss and was disgusted by Wen Jingping, so she naturally refused to let it go. After that, she caused trouble for Wen Jingping a few times, but was blocked by Huo Xiaofeng. Si Mingyu was not so lucky. Unlike Wen Jingping, she did not have Huo Xiaofeng's protection. The consequences of being attacked by the Yu family's revenge were obvious. After Si Mingyu left the show, Wen Jingping even ran to thank her and felt guilty that she had implicated her. At the same time, she mentioned that she had to compromise and apologize to Yu Yusher because of her hitting someone. Si Mingyu was so touched that she completely forgot that she had gotten into trouble because of her. After that, Si Mingyu disappeared from the industry, but Wen Jingping climbed higher and higher. She only heard about Si Mingyu from others when she was successful and found out that she was inexplicably banned by the company after this incident. When her contract expired, she left the entertainment industry and returned to her hometown. It was said that she was forced to marry a mommy's boy by her family and led a miserable life. When Jinping sighed and threw this matter to the back of her mind, Su Yiyan did not believe that when Jinping could not guess that Si Mingyu had ended up like this because of her. She pretended to sigh and did not even think of meeting her to ask if she needed help. It was obvious that she was cold-hearted. At that time, Si Mingyu would often see the people she had helped standing under the spotlight and being pursued and envied by countless people on television. She, who had stood up for her, ended up in a bad state because of helping her. Did she ever regret her enthusiasm? On the way to the hospital, Su Yiyan simply sorted out the relationship between the three of them. In conclusion, Si Mingyu was not a bad person, but she was too stupid. She was the kind of person who would count money after being sold. When Su Yiyan arrived at the hospital, Xia Junxing was already there with a mini projector in his hand. "You got the surveillance footage so quickly?" When the incident happened, there was a camera at the side that was still on, and it captured some things. Su Yiyan's eyes lit up and she was instantly interested. "Did you manage to capture something related to Wen Jinping?" "Just a little bit. Take a look for yourself." Su Yiyan took the projector and asked, "Did the production team give this to you so easily?" "They weren't willing to give it to us at first, but President Huo put pressure on them." "Chen Huan?" Su Yiyan was stunned. "He knows about this too?" Cough. "It should be one of my subordinates keeping an eye on the situation over there." Su Yiyan raised her eyebrows. She recalled the time when Huo Chenhuan had asked someone to remove Wen Jinping. That guy probably hadn't given up until now and was still thinking of helping her kill this woman. Why is he pressuring them? He's threatening and enticing them. He's giving them more investment, and if they don't give it, he's going to mess with them. Su Yiyan. Sure, this is very Huo Chenhuan. However, the production team won't lose anything by bringing this out. Yu Yushir is injured and hospitalized, so she must have withdrawn from the competition. The production team has to give her an explanation. Si Mingyu definitely can't stay. She's someone who's going to withdraw from the competition. If this video is really released and hyped up, it might even bring a wave of free traffic to their show. Chapter 206. Xia Junxing did not answer directly. Instead, he gestured for Su Yiyan to watch the video first. At the beginning of the video, a girl rushed toward another girl. The two of them quarreled for a while and started pushing each other. Their movements were not very big. It was obvious that the two of them had quarreled until their faces were red and they were a little anxious. After that, a few girls on the side surrounded them one after another, trying to pull them apart. At this moment, one of the girls suddenly fell backward from the side of the stage. Her whole body fell off the stage. Immediately after, the girl who had rushed towards her also staggered and fell, almost falling down as well. Fortunately, the baldy managed to stop himself in the end. He struggled back and forth for a while before he managed to stabilize himself. From her actions, it doesn't look like she's pushing someone. Instead, it looks like she was pushed out and bumped into Yu Yushir. Xia Junxing nodded. There's still a short video after that. It was taken by another camera. Su Yiyan continued to watch. Indeed, from another angle, she could see that when the group of girls ran over to pull the two of them, Wen Jinping happened to be standing behind Si Mingyu. It's a pity that the camera can only capture so much from this angle. There were many people at that time, so she was basically blocked. Even if this video is released, as long as she says that she went over to pull people, we can't do anything to her. Why are we wasting our time arguing with her? The important thing is whether the person involved is willing to argue with her. The person involved. Su Yiyan did not explain further. She put away the projector and asked, "Where's Yu Yushir? Which ward is she in?" "Upstairs." Xia Junxing leaned closer to Su Yiyan and reminded her in a low voice, "Yu Yushir's manager just called me and said that Yu Yushir's family is here. There are many people guarding upstairs. Isn't that just right? Let's go up and meet this general manager Yu." Xia Junxing saw that Su Yiyan was really not nervous at all, so his heart calmed down and he followed her upstairs. Just as Xia Junxing had said, Yu Jingyu had already arrived. There were a large number of bodyguards in black guarding the staircase on the 3rd and 4th floors, preventing anyone from approaching. Su Yiyan did not panic when he was stopped. He said frankly, "I'm Su Yiyan, the current general manager of Dongqing City. My company's artist, Yu Yushir, is injured and hospitalized. I'm here to visit her in person." The bodyguards in black looked at each other. One of them turned back into the ward on the third floor and ran out after a short while. Our eldest miss invites Miss Su over. Thank you. Under the guidance of the bodyguard, Su Yiyan led Xia Junxing into the innermost private ward and finally met the famous Miss Yu. Yu Jingyu was wearing a dark blue professional skirt. She looked capable and serious. She left a deep impression on people at first glance. She was unforgettable. Perhaps it was because of her sister's injury, Yu Jingyu's face didn't look good at the moment. When she heard the sound of the door opening, she glanced over coldly, almost freezing Su Yiyan and the others. Su Yiyan was slightly stunned. He looked her up and down, then turned his gaze to the girl on the hospital bed with one leg in a cast. They were biological sisters, but Yu Yushir looked completely different from her sister in terms of appearance and feeling. Chapter 207. Other than the two sisters, there was a girl who was slightly younger than Yu Yushir standing on the other side of the bed. Her eyes were red like a little white rabbit. Before Su Yiyan came, she had seen the artiste information that the company had compiled for her. She knew that this person should be the unlucky person who had coincidentally been replaced by Wen Jingping. Her name was Yun Luoshan. From the information, this girl was the youngest in this show. She looked more immature than the others, and she was the type who was easily bullied. Su Yiyan's gaze swept past the three of them before finally landing on Yu Jingyu. Hello, Director Yu. I'm the current person in charge of East City. My surname is Su. Yu Jingyu looked at Su Yiyan's outstretched hand and did not refuse. She raised her hand and shook it. Director Su, I've heard a lot about you. I'm very sorry that Yushir was injured at work this time. Yu Jingyu did not seem to have any intention of beating around the bush with Su Yiyan. She went straight to the point. Since it's a pity, has Director Su thought of a way to make up for it? That depends on Director Yu. How is Director Yu going to deal with this matter? Of course it's to teach the person who hurt her a lesson. Does Director Su have other thoughts? Of course not. Director Yu's thoughts are my thoughts. But before that, I have to ask Yushir a few questions. What questions? Yu Yushir looked at Su Yiyan curiously. She had heard that her manager's company had just changed bosses not long ago, and it was a woman. When Yu Yushir heard that, she thought that this new boss must be a powerful woman about the same age as her sister. She did not expect to be so young. I heard from the people present that you were the one who went on stage first to cause trouble for others? Yu Yushir was slightly stunned. She looked at her sister and boss's gazes and felt inexplicably guilty. She gritted her teeth and said, I was the one who went up first to scold them. As soon as Yu Yushir finished speaking, before Su Yiyan and the others could say anything, Yun Luoshan interrupted, No, it's because of me. It's because of me that Sister Yushir ran up. It's all my fault. I hurt her. If you want to blame someone, blame me. Don't blame Sister Yushir. Yun Luoshan really regretted it. If only she had pulled Yu Yushir back then, none of this would have happened. Yu Yushir was stunned when she saw her tearful face. She quickly said, What does this have to do with you? It's the production team that's going too far. You're clearly ranked in front of them. Why do you have to leave just because they want you to stay? It's fine if the person left behind is similar to you. That Wen Jingping isn't as good looking as you, and her singing isn't as good as yours either. She doesn't work very hard usually, and she spends all her energy on those crooked ways. What right does such a person have to snatch your spot? This has nothing to do with you. I'm the one who can't take it lying down. Yun Luoshan was frightened by her furious appearance. After a while, she reminded her in a trembling voice, Sister Yushir, don't be agitated. Be careful of your injuries. That fierce doctor just now said that if you keep moving around and break your leg, he won't treat you anymore. Yu Yushir. Su Yiyan almost laughed out loud when he saw this scene. How did these two girls get together? One was like a violent lioness protecting her cub, daring to roar at anyone. Chapter 208. After Su Yiyan laughed, she returned to the topic at hand and coughed lightly to draw their attention back. I don't mean to blame you. I just think that you're too impulsive. Yu Jingyu, who had been standing at the side and watching coldly, actually agreed with Su Yiyan. She's right. You're too impulsive. If you don't think about the consequences before you do something, you'll only be at a disadvantage. Then are we just going to watch them treat the rules as child's play and bully others? Talking about rules with adults? You're indeed immature. Yu Yushir was unconvinced when she heard her sister's words. Your original intention was good, but you used the wrong method. Wen Jingping's parachute was arranged by the production team. If you fall out with her in front of so many people, you're also falling out with the production team. If you weren't injured, or if you didn't have the identity of the second daughter of the Yu family, your entertainment career might have been ruined by now. Yu Yusher's face darkened. The reason why she hid her identity and sneaked into someone else's entertainment company to start from scratch was because she didn't want others to think that everything she had and everything she could obtain was because she was the second daughter of the Yu family. Without this identity, she was nothing. She was nothing. Su Yiyan's words could be said to have hit her Achilles' heel, but she couldn't refute it. Yu Yusher felt her face burning when she thought about how she had left home confidently back then. It had only been a few months, but she had already been hospitalized and even alarmed her sister. How embarrassing. If you're really angry, you can settle the score with them later. Settle the score later? If they don't take the rules seriously, then let them suffer the consequences of the rules. Didn't Wen Jingping shamelessly stay to become famous? You can make her more famous. Yu Yusher was stunned. You mean, there are two sides to everything. There's always a price to pay for crossing the bottom line. Yu Jingyu narrowed her eyes and interrupted. If my sister had your brain, I wouldn't have to worry so much. Yu Yusher. I'm still here. Am I her biological sister? The onlooker sees more clearly than the player involved. If I really encounter such a situation, I might not be much calmer than her. After Su Yiyan finished speaking, he turned to look at Yu Yusher and said with a faint smile, now that things have gotten to this point, what kind of explanation do you want? Me? Yes. Yu Yusher never thought that Su Yiyan would ask so bluntly. When she entered the hospital, she was filled with anger. She was angry at the integrity team, angry at the person who caused her to be hospitalized, and even angrier at Wen Jingping. She was still angry, but she was much calmer than before. I want Si Mingyu and Wen Jingping to withdraw from this show. I want the production team to apologize for their actions. You have quite a lot of demands. It's easy for Si Mingyu to knock you down and cause you to be hospitalized and withdraw from the show, but Wen Jingping, she shouldn't have stayed in the first place. That's right. She shouldn't have stayed in the first place, but the production team let her stay. Moreover, strictly speaking, you can't blame her for your hospitalization. Yu Yusher's face was as black as the bottom of a pot. She knew that Su Yiyan was telling the truth, but she was still very indignant. It was also at this moment that she suddenly realized that everything she had done before was actually useless. Yu Jingyu's expression darkened. Can't we just ask the production team to remove her? How can a small show have so many problems? Chapter 209. Yu Yusher's expression froze. Su Yiyan had hit the nail on the head again, and she was a little angry from embarrassment. Perhaps you can try to cooperate with someone. Oh. Su Yiyan took out the projector and showed the surveillance video that he had prepared beforehand to the people in the ward. They replayed the scene of Yu Yusher being pushed off the stage and felt a little uncomfortable. Yu Jingyu's face was dark. Although she was angry, she was the first one to notice something strange. This girl? Yu Jingyu pointed at Si Mingyu, who was staggering and almost fell down with Yu Yusher. Sister, she was the one who knocked me off the stage. There are so many people. How can you be sure that it was her? Yu Yusher pouted unhappily. Who else could it be? She was arguing with me before I fell, and after I fell she was the only one who came out. How can there be such a coincidence? It's quite a coincidence. She was standing behind you and there was another girl standing behind her. Yu Yusher choked. Only then did she realize that when she fell, the person standing behind Si Mingyu was Wen Jingping? Su Yiyan secretly sighed at Yu Jingyu's shrewdness. She had only watched such a small video once, but she had actually discovered the small clue inside. Whether it's a coincidence or not, won't we know if we call her over and ask? Call who? Su Yiyan glanced at her meaningfully and chuckled. If you were to choose between the two of them, who would you rather call over? I. Yu Yusher wanted to say that she did not want to see either of them, but after thinking about it, she felt that this answer was too impulsive. After pondering for a moment, she reluctantly told the truth. Si Mingyu. How rare. You were hospitalized because of her. Now that you're given a choice, you still chose her. I didn't have much enmity with her originally. If it wasn't for Wen Jingping. Su Yiyan smiled. This girl was impulsive, but she was not stupid. Yu Jingyu heard the conversation between the two, but she quickly understood Su Yiyan's intention. You want to use us? It's not considered using her. Yu Yusher is an artist of our company to begin with. We have the right to seek justice for her. At the same time, it just so happens that we have someone we both hate. Su Yiyan winked at Yu Jingyu playfully. Since she is the victim in this matter, it's reasonable for her to think of your side. Otherwise we can deal with it here, but the effect may not be as good as imagined. Yu Jingyu took a deep look at Su Yiyan and said nothing. Yu Yushir looked at the two of them in confusion and said speechlessly, "What kind of riddle are you guys playing?" Before Su Yiyan could speak, Yu Jingyu had already reached out and took the projector from her hand. "I will take care of this matter. As for the follow-up matters, the company will also help guide them. Sorry to trouble you." "Of course. If there's nothing else, we'll go back first. You sure rest well. We'll visit you next time." After Su Yiyan finished speaking, she took one last look at Yu Yushir and left with Xia Junxing. Yu Jingyu looked at the projector in her hand and then at the direction in which the two of them left. She was deep in thought. Yu Yushir saw that Yu Jingyu was standing there without saying anything, so she asked tentatively, "Sister? Your boss is much smarter than you." Chapter 210. As soon as Su Yiyan left the hospital, Xia Junxing could not help but ask, "Do you really believe that they can do it well? If you use someone, don't doubt them. It's indeed impossible for Yu Yushir to do it alone. However, her sister is a powerful person. A character like Wen Jingping has nowhere to hide in front of her. Just wait, maybe they'll do better than we expected. With her around, it's impossible for Yu Yushir to be at a disadvantage." Su Yiyan closed her eyes after saying that. Now that she thought about it, the timing of Wen Jingping's visit to the hospital in the original novel was also coincidental. According to today's situation, she must have met Yu Yushir before Yu Jingyu arrived. Otherwise, she would not have brought such a large group of people to the ward to cause a ruckus without being stopped. It was interesting when she thought about it this way. Yu Jingyu's sister did not even have time to rush to the hospital when she received the news, but she had already taken the lead to apologize. No matter how one looked at it, she seemed to have expected it and was prepared. Unfortunately, she had already found the evidence first. Because she was at the filming location, the news reached Yu Jingyu's ears immediately. Now that they were already in the hospital, it would be fine if Wen Jingping did not cause trouble, but now that she did, she would probably be sending herself to death. In fact, just as Su Yiyan had expected, Wen Jingping did make the same choice as in the original novel. After Yu Yushir was hospitalized, she immediately contacted Hua Xiaofeng and explained the whole story to him. She also told him that this was all because of her. She was worried that Yu Yushir's management company and the production team would blame Sima Yu for this. If that happened, she would have implicated her. Sima Yu was now at the center of the storm and could not visit Yu Yushir in the hospital, so she wanted to visit Yu Yushir on Sima Yu's behalf and ask for Yu Yushir's forgiveness. However, at the same time, she was worried that Yu Yushir would make things difficult for her if she apologized. When Hua Xiaofeng heard her words, he was touched by her kindness and worried that she would be at a disadvantage. At first, he suggested that she go with the bodyguards, but Wen Jingping rejected him. The reason was that he was there to apologize, not to fight. It was not suitable to bring bodyguards with him. Hua Xiaofeng thought about it and agreed. He then thought of finding a group of reporters to accompany her. "He's here?" When Yu Jingyu received the bodyguard's report, it was already an hour after Su Yiyan left. "He's already downstairs with a large group of reporters. Eldest miss, should we let her up?" "Reporter?" A cold light flashed in Yu Jingyu's eyes as she chuckled. "You have some brains, but it's a pity that you didn't use them on the right path." Yu Yushir was embarrassed. "Sister, do you think I'm the most brainless because everyone has a brain?" Yu Jingyu looked at her with disdain and said coldly and mercilessly, "It's the truth." Yu Yushir was furious. "It's fine if you said my boss is smart, but now you're saying that Wen Jingping is smarter than me." Before Yu Yushir could finish, Yin Luoshan asked from the side, "Why did she bring the reporters here? Looking for trouble?" "See, this little girl has more brains than you. Looking for trouble? She's still looking for trouble at this time. Is there something wrong with her brain?" Chapter 211. Sister. Yu Yushir was furious. She was not that bad. Yu Jingyu did not explain further to her. Let her in. 5 minutes later, Wen Jingping followed behind the black-clothed bodyguard from before. Behind her was a group of reporters with long cameras and short cannons. Some of them were even live streaming. Wen Jingping's heart skipped a beat when she saw the bodyguards downstairs. Now that she saw an unfamiliar woman in the ward, she had a premonition that something was out of her control. Unfortunately, she had no choice but to post it online. She could only ask tentatively, "This is?" Yu Jingyu's eyes flickered and she said directly, "I'm Yusher's sister." "You are?" "I am." Before Wen Jingping could finish, Yu Yusher interrupted her impatiently. "What are you here for?" Wen Jingping's face turned pale and she immediately looked hurt. However, she was a little happy about Yu Yusher's straightforwardness. Facing so many reporters and cameras, she actually acted as usual. It saved her a lot of trouble. Yu Yusher was annoyed to see her like this. Every time she spoke a little more seriously, it was as if others were bullying her and she had suffered a great grievance. Did she really think that she was a little princess? Everyone in the world had to treat her like she was fragile and accommodate her. What was wrong with her? "I'm here to apologize to you on behalf of Mingyu." Yu Yusher raised her eyebrows. "If you're here to apologize to me on behalf of Si Mingyu, why didn't she come herself?" She's too embarrassed to come." Wen Jingping thought that Yu Yusher would definitely mock her for saying that, but she didn't expect Yu Yusher to only reply coldly, "Oh." Wen Jingping was stunned and almost fell into an awkward silence. After a moment of silence, she quickly continued, "Mingyu actually regrets it. She didn't expect things to turn out like this and even let you be hospitalized. Actually, someone from the production team has already talked to her. She also realized her mistake. She was just afraid that if she came and saw you like this, she would feel even worse, so she didn't come." Yu Yusher listened to her emotional performance and said nothing. Wen Jingping had no choice but to continue her monologue. In the end, she was too impulsive. It wasn't a big deal to begin with. Now that things have turned out this way, it's not what everyone wanted. Yusher, can you be magnanimous and forgive her this time? Don't let the production team pursue her responsibility. I apologize to you on her behalf and thank you on her behalf. She did not mention herself at all and pushed all the blame onto Si Mingyu. She even portrayed herself as someone who was willing to lower herself to beg for forgiveness for her friend. Yu Yusher sneered and suddenly asked, "There were so many people present. How did you know that she was the one who caused me to fall off the stage?" Wen Jingping was stunned. The words she had prepared were stuck in her throat for a second. At that time, everyone saw it." "You saw everything? Then did you see her push me with your own eyes?" Yu Yusher emphasized the words "with your own eyes" and "with her own hands." Wen Jingping's heart skipped a beat again. She said stiffly, "I didn't see it. But at that time, everyone was busy trying to separate the two of you. Only Mingyu kept struggling to get to you." After leaving behind a few suggestive words, he hurriedly pleaded for leniency. She was probably angry at that time, that's why. Yu Yusher looked at her with a faint smile and did not say anything. Chapter 212. Although Yu Yusher was staying in a private ward, it was the most luxurious kind. Not only did it have a private bathroom, but it also had a small screen that blocked her from changing clothes in the room. Wen Jingping's attention was all on Yu Yusher and her sister when she first entered the room. How could she have checked if there was someone hiding behind the small screen? The result was obvious. Not only was there someone hiding inside, but there was also someone she was extremely familiar with. Wen Jingping was dumbfounded when she saw the person who shouldn't be here. "Mingyu, why are you here? Why am I here? If I wasn't here, how would I know what you're like behind my back?" Si Mingyu looked at the person in front of her with bloodshot eyes. She hated her blindness as much as she liked this friend before. About an hour ago, Si Mingyu suddenly received a call from her manager saying that someone was looking for her to go to the hospital. Si Mingyu knew that Yu Yusher was probably going to settle scores with her. Although she was nervous, she knew that she had to bear the consequences of her mistake. She gritted her teeth and decided to come here alone. Unexpectedly, Yu Yusher and the others were not in a hurry to convict her. Instead, they asked her, "Did you really push me off the stage last night?" Si Mingyu's first reaction was to think, are they trying to humiliate me on purpose? If she said that she was pushed by someone but she couldn't say who pushed her, would they think that it was an excuse for her to not take responsibility for her crime? Si Mingyu's heart was in a mess. At first, she didn't say anything and only lowered her head to beg for forgiveness. In the end, she was really annoyed by the questions, so she turned her face away and said in a hoarse voice that she seemed to have been hit from behind before rushing out. They were all prepared to be ridiculed, but they didn't expect that they would look at each other and continue to ask, "Then do you know who pushed you?" Si Mingyu was a little annoyed. If she knew, would she be so regretful and aggrieved now? "I don't know." "That's good. We know who pushed you. Simingyu's eyes widened when she heard this. She said in disbelief, "Do you know who pushed me? Did she do it on purpose? Why did she do that? Who is she? You might not believe us even if we tell you who she is. See for yourself." Thus, Simingyu saw the surveillance video of the accident last night and the person she couldn't believe. How could it be her? How could it be her? Are you mistaken? Siminyu's face was pale. She couldn't believe that the person she was protecting was a poisonous beauty. This is the video that we spent a lot of effort to get from the production team. These 2 clips have not been edited at all. If you don't believe me, you can compare it with the others. Siminyu's eyes reddened. Why did she do that? What? Chapter 213. Simingyu kept shaking her head. She did not want to believe that the person she had always trusted and protected was so unbearable, and she did not want to believe that she had been blind. Yu Yushir and the others did not force her and gave her time to recover. Coincidentally, when Jingping came looking for them, the few of them knew what she was here for, so they asked Simingyu to hide first. They wanted to see for themselves what this person was like in a place where she couldn't see. When Jingping was stunned for a few seconds before she quickly came back to her senses. She was embarrassed that she had been exposed and forced to beg for forgiveness on behalf of her friend, but her kind intentions were not rewarded. "Mingyu, I didn't know you were here. I thought, what did you think? Did you think I was still in the dormitory and didn't know anything, allowing you to push everything onto me and step on me to climb up the ranks?" If it was just based on those 2 videos, Simingyu might not have believed it and might not have been so disappointed in Wen Jingping. The main reason was that she had asked Wen Jingping a question last night. When Yu Yushir fell, the scene was chaotic. Everyone's attention was on her, and so was Simingyu. She was stunned for a long time before she woke up from the screams of the people around her. At that time, the people on the stage were either running or dispersing. It was impossible to tell who had pushed her. Simingyu watched in a daze as the staff sent Yu Yushir to the ambulance. The contestants were also sent back to the dormitory. The first thing she did when she returned to the dormitory was to ask Wen Jingping if she had seen who was standing behind her when the incident happened. How did Wen Jingping answer? She said, "At that time the scene was chaotic and there were many people. I was so focused on pulling you that I didn't notice who was standing behind you." After that, she even asked herself innocently why she was asking this question. Did something happen? She was clearly the one who was standing behind her at that time. She was clearly the one who had caused all of this, but she still pretended as if nothing had happened. She pushed all the blame onto her and cast herself clean of all responsibility. Wen Jingping's eyes flashed with panic, but she quickly calmed down. "Mingyu, what nonsense are you talking about? I'm here today to apologize to Miss Yu and the others on your behalf. After all, you were the one who attacked first. Miss Yu is still lying in the hospital. Yes, I made the first move. But why don't you tell me why I made the first move? Why don't you say that Yu Yushir fell because someone pushed me from behind?" Wen Jingping's heart skipped a beat. I know you did it for me. I'm very grateful for your protection. But Mingyu, no matter what, it's not right to make a move, especially when someone is injured." Simingyu looked at Wen Jingping's appearance. The amount of pity she had for her before was the same amount of disgust she felt for her now. "Now you know how to say nice things. What did you say to me before? Yu Yushir is obviously a little princess raised by a rich family. She looks down on a country bumpkin like you who came from a poor family. Ever since she joined the production team, she has been causing trouble for you. She even isolated and bullied you with the others." Chapter 214. With every word Simingyu said, Wen Jingping's face turned paler. Yu Yushir could not take it anymore. "What the hell are you talking about? When did I cause trouble for her? I even colluded with others to isolate her and colluded with the production team to slander her?" The talent show they were participating in had auditions, preliminaries, 100 to 60, 60 to 20. The competition system was simple but cruel. Due to the large number of people and limited time, they basically adopted a team versus team competition mode. In the beginning, the production team assigned teams and later they were free to form teams. To a certain extent, the quality of their teammates was related to their own results. Wen Jingping was not outstanding and her ability was not good either. To put it bluntly, she was a hindrance. When it came to grouping later, she was often the last batch. Very few people were willing to be in the same group as her, afraid that they would be implicated by her. In the end, she was still blamed for the trouble caused by her own ability. At that thought, Yu Yushir glanced at Wen Jingping in disdain. She's not worthy. It was just 3 short words, but it made Wen Jingping's body tremble. She suddenly returned to the dark period in her previous life when anyone could step on her at will. Why was she still looked down on by these people even though she had been reborn? What right did they have to look down on her? Sometimes people were like this. When they trusted someone, they could ignore some things. When they no longer trusted someone, these things would return to their minds one after another. It made people regret being so stupid that they could not see such an obvious thing. Simingyu was more or less in this situation now. I was stupid. I believed whatever you said and never checked if the truth was different from what you said. Now that I think about it, Miss Yu didn't have much contact with you. She's prettier and more capable than you. Why would she cause trouble for you, spend so much effort to slander you and make others isolate you? When Wen Jingping heard Simingyu say, she's prettier and more capable than you, she was so angry that her face turned black. Just as she was about to say something, she heard Simingyu say, since all the media friends are here today, let's sort this matter out carefully so that there won't be any more trouble in the future and make me a scapegoat for no reason. Wen Jingping was shocked. The ominous feeling in her heart suddenly magnified. Mengyu. Simingyu ignored her shock and said coldly, the cause of the incident was at the recording of the show last night. During the public performance competition for the top 60 to top 20, when the final rankings and candidates were decided, Miss Yu suddenly ran out to question the results. She asked the production team to release the detailed voting results and publicly accused Wen Jingping of using her special privileges to take over the contestants who should have been shortlisted. Simingyu's words caused an uproar. Although the reporters who came with Wen Jingping were hired by He Xiaofeng, the reporters' job was to chase after anything that broke the news. The situation in front of them was much more explosive than the small news of Little White Lotus apologizing to the victim on behalf of her friend. Her sincerity moved the victim to let bygones be bygones. The internal strife of the talent show. 3 women in a show. Who would be the final winner? Chapter 215. Wen Jingping's face turned pale. She never expected that the trap she had set up with great difficulty would backfire on her. Mengyu? Simingyu met Wen Jingping's angry and venomous gaze. She found it funny and sad at the same time. The little bit of luck in her heart finally dissipated at this moment. Wen Jingping and I usually have a good relationship. Besides, as I said just now, she brainwashed me a few times in advance. When I saw Miss Yu go on stage and say those words, my head heated up. The first thing I thought was that she wanted to bully Wen Jingping, so I went up and quarreled with her. Later, because of this quarrel, it led to physical contact. Just as Simingyu said this, a reporter couldn't help but ask, since you have a good relationship with Miss Wen, why are you attacking her now? Simingyu could tell that the reporter was stirring up trouble, but she wasn't afraid. She simply said, when you find out that the person you've been treating sincerely has been using you and even wants to destroy you after using you, what will you do? I wasn't attacking her. I was just fighting back. The reporter's eyes lit up. Just as he was about to ask again, Simingyu continued, when they saw us pushing and shoving, the others were afraid that something would happen, so they came forward to pull us away. As they were pulling, someone pushed me from behind, causing me to bump into Miss Yu, causing her to be hospitalized. And I almost fell off the stage and accompanied Miss Yu to the hospital. The reporters who followed her reacted very quickly. Soon, someone asked the main point, was that person Miss Wen? Just as Simingyu was about to speak, she heard a sharp shout, Mengyu. Everyone's attention instantly shifted to Wen Jingping. Her eyes were red, and her face was filled with hurt and disbelief. She said, how could you do this? Just to avoid responsibility, you made up such a lie and pushed all the blame onto me. We're best friends, you know. How could you do this? I really misjudged you. This complaint was so sad and mournful that a few reporters who were protective of the fairer sex even showed some sympathy for her. Simingyu frowned slightly. Before she could refute, Yu Jingyu was one step ahead of her. Someone will investigate whether she lied or not. This is a vicious case of intentional injury. Before you came, we already called the police. If you have anything to say next, you can say it to the police yourself. At this point, Yu Jingyu looked deeply at Wen Jingping and sneered. By the way, Miss Wen, please be mentally prepared. We have evidence on our hands. If you don't want people to know, don't do it in the first place. When she heard that, she couldn't control of herself. This once again. A hint of coldness flashed across Yu Jingyu's eyes. Her words were actually meant to test Wen Jingping. After all, Wen Jingping's mental fortitude was still a problem. She still dared to play tricks on her biological sister. She was really tired of living. Yu Jingyu's words were no different from convicting Wen Jingping. The reporters were like great white sharks that smelled blood. They scrambled to squeeze into the ward and were thrown out by the bodyguards not long after. Mingyu turned around and bowed deeply to Yu Yushi. She glanced coldly at Wen Jingping and left. Chapter 216. After Su Yiyan left the hospital, she had been paying attention to the aftermath of this incident. Yu Jingyu did not disappoint her. Very soon she saw the live broadcast of this incident on the internet. Yes, live broadcast. Wen Jingping felt uneasy when she saw so many bodyguards in black. She simply asked a few reporters to broadcast everything that happened in the ward on the spot, just in case. In the end, the development of the situation was completely beyond her expectations. The script that she had originally planned had completely backfired on her. The Public Relations Department of Dongqing City had been waiting for this moment for a long time. As soon as the live broadcast came out, they issued an announcement, declaring that they would pursue this matter to the end. In addition, the reporters who were broadcasting the live broadcast happened to capture the police officers in the hospital preparing to arrest them before the live broadcast ended. Of course, the drama of the plastic sisters fighting on the spot was sent to the hot topic. Before this, Wen Jingping had been ridiculed because of the incident. If she had been tactful and kept quiet for a period of time, waiting for the onlookers to forget about this incident, she might have been able to make a comeback. But she was too impatient. Because of this, wouldn't her old grudges be digging her own grave? Su Yiyan looked at the almost one-sided comments on the internet and smiled slightly. She packaged all these happy video messages and sent them to Huo Chenhuan. When Huo Chenhuan received these messages, she was busy with a video conference. When she heard the familiar notification tone, she directly interrupted the report of the employee on the other end. In front of a group of company executives, she took out her phone and started chatting. Yan loves you the most in the world. Am I awesome? Picture 1, Picture 2. Across the screen, Huo Chenhuan could imagine Su Yiyan's slightly raised chin and gleaming eyes because of pride. She looked very much like a proud cat wagging its tail after being praised. Wow, awesome, give you a little red flower. JPG, it was this old cadre's emoji again. Su Yiyan was amused and sent another message. Yan loves you the most in the world. I've been busy recently. Originally, I was too lazy to find trouble with her, but she insisted on jumping in front of me. Don't you think she deserves a beating from society? Huo Chenhuan said in her heart. No, she owes you a beating. Wha? Yeah, you're so busy, but she still came to make you worry. She deserves a beating. Pfft. Su Yiyan couldn't help but laugh when she saw this reply. This guy could really hit the nail on the head every time and make her happy. Yan who loves you most in the world. Why do I love you so much? Face rubbing. JPG Big Boss Hua, who had learned a lot of bootlicking, naturally knew what he meant. A slight blush quickly appeared on her face, and it happened so quickly that the few senior executives who were still hanging on the internet almost thought that they were seeing things. However, there were still one or two people who were particularly fast. They captured the scene and sent it to the company's small group chat. Shocking. Big Boss could blush too. Is he in love? A single stone raised 1,000 ripples. For a moment, those who were slacking and those who weren't all gathered in a small group and started to discuss this once-in-a-100-year spectacle. Until someone in the know ran out and revealed, how is he in love? He's about to get married. I heard that Big Boss has had a crush on the goddess for a long time. How can he not be happy when he finally gets the beauty? As soon as this was said, it immediately attracted the attention of everyone. After a round of explanation, everyone suddenly understood. Chapter 217. At this moment, Huo Chenhuan still didn't know that this group of company elites was having a small meeting downstairs while he was talking to Su Yiyan. After showing off her victory, Su Yiyan brought the topic back to his body. Yan loves you most in the world. I've already prepared the ingredients for the medicinal bath. I'll send them to you in 2 days. Also, my mom said that we're getting married soon, so it's not appropriate for us to meet before the wedding. The medicinal bath needs to be used together with massage and acupuncture. The acupuncture can be done later. As for the massage, why don't you ask one of Xiaoyang and the others to learn from me? The massage was her reward for leveling up to level 4 after the last live broadcast. When she saw the reward, the first thing that came to her mind was that the massage should be used together with the medicinal bath to promote the absorption of the medicine. It was very suitable for Huo Chenhuan now. When Huo Chenhuan saw this long paragraph, he suddenly thought of something and narrowed his eyes. What, is the massage what I think it means? Yin Yin loves you most in the world. It means a massage. What, on your body? Yin Yin loves you most in the world? Yes. Hua, don't give it to others. Su Yiyin was stunned. She thought about how this person's jealousy was overturned by acupuncture. If she gave it to others, he would be so angry that he would vomit blood. Yin Yin loves you most in the world. Okay, I'll only give it to you. Huo Chenhuan was slightly stunned, and his face heated up again. What? You don't have to teach Xiaoyang and the others. We're getting married soon. I can wait. Anyway, he had been paralyzed for so long, so he didn't mind being paralyzed for a few more days. It was just a few days. He could still afford to wait. Su Yiyin frowned. Only then did she remember that Huo Chenhuan didn't seem to like others touching his body after the car accident. Even Gu Xiaoyang and the others were no exception. Yin Yin loves you most in the world. Okay, then we'll do it after we get married. Anyway, we have plenty of time in the future. Huo Chenhuan looked at the last sentence. His eyes moved slightly and a faint smile appeared on his face. With Yu Jingyu's presence, coupled with the drama of the teammates turning against each other in the ward, Wen Jingping's matter naturally couldn't be resolved unscathed like in the original novel. After that, Si Mingyu took the initiative to submit an application to withdraw from the competition. She also sorted out everything that had been said in the ward and posted it on her public account. This straightforward girl was very clear about the consequences of her actions, but she still did it without hesitation. It was clear that she had the intention to fight to the death. However, she was still too naive. Although Wen Jingping had made a mistake and lost herself, Huo Xiaofeng was not someone to be trifled with. The matter had just started. Although he was angry, he still reacted quickly. He directly bought a group of fake reviewers and said that Si Mingyu had been bribed by Yu Jingyu and Yu Yusher's management company. He deliberately poured dirty water on Wen Jingping to seek to get away with it. The reason why the Yu sisters were making things difficult for Wen Jingping was entirely out of jealousy. In addition, the video taken from that clip was indeed not enough to convict Wen Jingping, so Wen Jingping simply insisted that she had been framed by a group of people. Some bystanders were successfully brainwashed and felt that Wen Jingping had been framed. However, most people, especially those who had witnessed Wen Jingping's face being slapped in the face, quickly found out that this excuse was untenable. Chapter 218. Or are they jealous that you found such an outstanding boyfriend? Needless to say, Su Yiyin had really thought about that when he saw those whitewashing methods. After all, Huo Xiaofeng was a person with a strange brain circuit. To put it bluntly, he was too narcissistic and did not know himself well. In his heart, he must also feel that Wen Jingping being able to find such a rich and handsome boyfriend like him was a point that would make other girls jealous and hate her. Huo Xiaofeng bought fake reviewers, so Yu Jingyu naturally did not want to be outdone. She bought a group of fake reviewers to fight with him. Perhaps it was because of the protagonist's halo, but Yu Jingyu, who was supposed to be much more capable than Huo Xiaofeng, could only fight to a draw with him in the end. When the gods fought, the little devils suffered. The ones who were really suffering were the production team. Ever since Wen Jingping joined their show, she had caused a lot of trouble. The production team's higher-ups had long been angry with her and wanted to kick her out. However, the young master of family Huo stood behind her, and they could not afford to offend him. This time, Yu Yusher was an artiste of Dongqing City, and Dongqing City was one of the sponsors of their show. Furthermore, she was the second daughter of the Yu family, so they could not afford to offend her. Should they kick Wen Jingping out? If they kicked her out now, would family Huo make things difficult for them? The higher-ups were really worried. Su Yiyin's instructions reached the production team's director's ears at this time. What our boss means is that everyone is trying to make a living and no one has it easy. Although this incident was bad and we suffered a loss, in the end it was because some people were not good enough. It has nothing to do with the production team, so we will not really pursue the responsibility of the production team. Moreover, Dongqing City also invested in this show, so we naturally don't want to see our efforts go to waste. Wen Jingping is very popular now, so we can keep her. After all, if everyone in a show is good, I'm afraid there won't be any conflicts. How can there be popularity without conflicts? Don't you think so? The director was not a fool. How could he not understand Dong Cheng's attitude towards Wen Jingping? In this world there were always some people who were very good at the art of speaking. Once they opened their mouth they would make people happy. Even if they knew that the other party had ulterior motives, they would still be willing to help. As for some people, the moment they opened their mouths people would feel disgusted. Perhaps they would choose to submit because they were afraid of the other party's power. No matter how well they acted on the surface, it was inevitable that they would obey in public but oppose in private. I understand. Thank you for your understanding, President Su. The same thing will never happen again. Wen Jingping will stay but we will stop her from doing anything else. Don't worry, President Su. Then I'll leave the rest of the children in your care. You're welcome. Just like that, Wen Jingping was asked to stay. She thought that Hua Xiaofeng's attempt to clear her name had worked, or that Hua Xiaofeng had pressured the production team so that they did not dare to chase her out. But no matter what, it was good that she could stay. Staying meant that she still had a chance. However, she soon realized that she was too naive. Although the police did not have enough evidence and could not convict her, the contestants in the production team who interacted with each other day and night were not like those who did not know anything. They all saw how well Si Mingyu usually treated Wen Jingping and how much she took care of her. Moreover, Si Mingyu had a straightforward personality, so the other contestants were actually very happy to interact with her. Chapter 219. Moreover, when this matter was first exposed, the few contestants who had run over to pull Si Mingyu also spontaneously followed suit. It meant that they were pulling Si Mingyu at that time. A few of them were pulling one person, so they should have been able to hold her back. However, Si Mingyu still rushed out in the end. Now that they thought about it, that strength did not seem to be hers alone. In other words, someone was indeed pushing her from behind. They did not have any evidence to prove that this person was Wen Jingping, but their rationality was already biased towards Si Mingyu and the others. They subconsciously wanted to stay away from this terrifying woman. How terrifying was a woman who could easily push away her friends who treated her sincerely and stood up for her own interests. It would be fine if they stayed away, but the closer they were to her, the more likely they would be used as stepping stones by her. With this thought in mind, the other contestants who did not pay much attention to her began to consciously distance themselves from her. The so-called isolation that Wen Jingping used to deceive Si Mingyu became a reality in the end. Other than that, Yun Luoshan also returned to the production team. Si Mingyu and Yu Yushi were both in the top 20. After they withdrew, their rankings were adjusted accordingly. Yun Luoshan and the contestant behind her were called back. This youngest girl, who had always been shy and timid after joining the team, seemed to have grown up a lot after this incident. She smiled at the other girls who were usually more talkative. Then, her smile faded as she walked in front of Wen Jingping. Before Wen Jingping could finish speaking, Yun Luoshan interrupted her. Sister Yushi's matter won't end just like that. This is just the beginning. With that, she turned around and left without waiting for Wen Jingping's reaction. Wen Jingping looked at her back and thought of what she had just said. For some reason she felt a chill in her heart. After Su Yiyan asked Xia Junxing to convey her attitude to the production team, she completely ignored this matter. Half a month after the construction team officially started, Su Yiyan's medicinal cuisine restaurant was officially completed. All the furniture inside was neatly arranged, waiting for the arrival of the owner and guests. Dining hall? Why does this name sound a little strange? How is it strange? Didn't Gahuan mean eating happily? Which restaurant doesn't want customers to eat happily in their own restaurant and come to visit often? You have a point. More than a dozen employees who had been sent over earlier were discussing the name of the store and some of the furnishings in the store. This was the scene that Su Yiyan saw when he entered the room. He raised his eyebrows slightly and coughed lightly to attract everyone's attention. Their discussion came to an abrupt end. They hurriedly lined up and shouted, "Hello, boss." Su Yiyan laughed in spite of himself. He waved his hand and said, "No need to be so serious. Some of you are my relatives and some of you are my brother's trusted aides. You are all trustworthy people." As soon as Su Yiyan said this, the eyes of several young people lit up, but they didn't try to curry favor with him on the spot. Su Yiyan saw this and nodded with satisfaction. He smiled and said, "Uncle and my brother should have told you before sending you here. What do you need to pay attention to?" Several people looked at each other and said truthfully, "President Su told us to listen to Mrs. Orders." Chapter 220. That's good. I'm actually not difficult to get along with. As long as you respect me, I'll respect you too. But if I find out that someone has violated the restaurant's rules and has done something against reason and morality, then I'm sorry, but I can only do business according to the rules. It doesn't matter if you're my relative or my brother's confidant, it won't work for me. Everyone was stunned and suddenly realized that the smiling young girl in front of them might not be as simple as she looked. Although it's not nice to hear, I like to say the ugly words first. This way it's good for you, good for me, and good for everyone. It can save a lot of trouble. As soon as Su Yiyan finished speaking, a young man asked in a clear voice, "Then boss, what are the rules of our restaurant?" Su Yiyan looked in the direction of the voice and found that it was a young man in his early 20s. He was a little tanned and looked very smart. The rules of our restaurant are very simple. You should have heard that our restaurant is going to make medicinal cuisine. What is medicinal cuisine? It's food with Chinese herbs. Eating this food can cure diseases and strengthen the body. But since it's medicine, it must be effective for the disease. Eating it indiscriminately or taking the wrong amount of medicine will not improve the body, but will damage the body. It was the first time that everyone present had heard this, and they were a little confused for a while. Food was food, how did it have anything to do with medicine? So, was this a restaurant or a pharmacy? Su Yiyan didn't have the energy to wait for them to carefully digest these words and continued, "Among you people, I will pick a group to be in charge of the kitchen in the future. That is to say, a large part of the medicinal cuisine sold in the restaurant will need you to make it. The rules of the restaurant are that the people in charge of the kitchen are not allowed to make medicinal cuisine without my permission after leaving the kitchen. Whether it's to sell it or to make it for your family, you have to get my permission first. Otherwise, if there's a problem with it, the restaurant will not be responsible for it." When everyone heard Su Yiyan's words, they were even more confused. They thought that they were here to do odd jobs, but now they found that it was not easy. Not only did they have to know how to cook, but they also had to learn how to cure diseases. "Boss, we don't know how to cook and we don't know what those herbs are. What should we do?" "You don't have to be nervous. I'll teach you later. I will teach you how to make medicinal cuisine, how to distinguish the medicinal herbs, and how to measure their weight." Su Yiyan paused and joked, "In addition, employees also have benefits in this regard." "What benefits?" "If the staff in the store need the medicinal cuisine, they can provide it for free. The relevant family members have the right to try it first and enjoy the subsequent discounts." This? Everyone looked at each other. It was obvious that they had no idea what Su Yiyan was talking about. Su Yiyan had already expected this, so she was prepared before she came. "You probably don't have much of an idea of what I'm talking about. How about this? I'll pick two of you who haven't been feeling well recently and make a medicinal cuisine for each of you to try and see how effective it is." Everyone present frowned at the same time and looked at each other, as if they were trying to find someone who was not feeling well and had to take the initiative to stand up and be the model. Who would have thought that Su Yiyan did not even need to go through such a process and directly chose two people from the crowd? Chapter 221. Su Yiyan called out a man and a woman in their early 20s. The two of them were shocked and stood in front of him uneasily. Su Yiyan was amused by their reaction and said helplessly, "Don't be nervous. I won't do anything to you. What are your names? Introduce yourselves." The two of them were a little embarrassed when they were suddenly used as examples. However, the boy was more proactive. He coughed lightly and said loudly, "My name is Xen Hanliang. I'm 26 this year. I used to be President Su's assistant. I'm unmarried and single." Hearing the last two words, the row of people behind Xen Hanliang laughed out loud. Su Yiyan couldn't help but laugh. He patted him on the shoulder and said, "It's okay. Our feng shui is good and there are many girls. Maybe in a few months you'll be single." Xen Hanliang didn't care about the people behind him holding back their laughter. He laughed sheepishly. After Su Yiyan laughed, he turned to look at the other girl. "What about you?" "My name is Cheng Yishuan. I'm 24 this year. I just graduated not long ago. I'm also single." Considering that girls were thin-skinned, they didn't laugh this time. Su Yiyan didn't tease her and went straight to the point. "Is your menstrual cycle very messy? Sometimes it's delayed for a long time, and sometimes it's suddenly brought forward. It's rarely accurate. Occasionally you'll have waist and knees ache, dizziness and tinnitus." Cheng Yishuan was stunned and said in surprise, How did you know?" "I can tell," Su Yiyan said and turned to look at Xen Hanliang. "As for you, do you often sweat?" Xan Hanliang looked confused. Sweat? What is sweat? When you're asleep you always sweat a lot. The amount of sweat you sweat is far more than the average person. The specific symptoms are that you always feel hot when you're asleep and sweat non-stop. When you wake up, the sweat will stop. However, because you sweat too much in your sleep, you will feel thirsty. Xan Hanliang's expression changed slightly. That's right. Is this also an illness? Can it be cured? Can I still be saved? Su Yiyan looked at the person in front of him who was scared half to death by himself. He didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Don't scare yourself. Your current condition is only moderate night sweating. You'll recover after some rest. Xan Hanliang was relieved. That's good, that's good. Apart from the two of them, the rest of the people were a little surprised when they saw this scene. For a moment, they even wondered if the two people who were called out were fake. Otherwise, how could he have identified their illness after just meeting them for less than 10 minutes and just listening to their self-introduction? This was too miraculous. Su Yiyan didn't care what these people thought. He led the group of people to the kitchen. Since the illness has been confirmed, the next step is to prepare the medicinal cuisine. It just so happens that I haven't streamed in a few days. I'll take this opportunity to catch up on my lost time. Su Yiyan was indeed very busy recently. Not only was she busy with the store, but she was also busy with the management company that Su Yuxuan had handed over to her. He had just taken over the company and there were a lot of things to do. If it weren't for Xia Junxing helping to share some of the burden, she was afraid that she would have been so busy that she wanted to quit. The sudden return of the missing people caused Su Yiyan's bald clique to be the first to react. They rushed to spread the news. Therefore, Su Yiyan had just opened the live broadcast when he saw the screen full of "Host, help." Those who didn't know better would have thought that they had entered an emergency crime scene. Chapter 222. Su Yiyan wasn't the only one who was dumbfounded. The new employees behind her were also dumbfounded. What kind of live stream room was their big boss doing? Why were there so many people asking her for help? Help? What life? Whose life? The bald party begs the host to save this baby. The auntie party begs the host to love me again. The insomniac party seconded. Host, look at me. I'm begging for a child. My husband and I really want a child of our own. Please help. Su Yiyan looked at the screen full of people who were begging for help in surprise. She blinked and asked in confusion, "What's going on? I didn't see you guys so anxious before." Host, you didn't disappear for such a long time before. Host, you're no longer the diligent little cutie who took the time to live stream for us no matter how busy she was. Tell us honestly, where have you been all this time? Was she abducted by someone? Do you still need to ask? The host must have been kidnapped by her husband. Su Yiyan's mouth twitched slightly. She sighed and said, "That's not it. I've been really busy recently." We know. You guys are busy spending time with each other. Su Yiyan was speechless. They didn't even have a chance to see each other now. How could they spend time with each other? Fortunately, the audience soon noticed the background of the live stream behind her. Is the host in some home's kitchen? Why does it look different from the previous one? It does look a little different. However, I've confirmed it with my eyes. No matter which one it is, I can't afford it. The host seemed to have said before that she wasn't short of money. She probably started the live stream out of interest or simply wanted to promote those Chinese herbs. Seeing that the audience's topic was starting to deviate to her real life, Su Yiyan hurriedly coughed to draw everyone's attention back. This is actually the reason why I haven't been live streaming recently. Su Yiyan picked up the live stream equipment and turned the camera around so that it could capture some details in the kitchen. However, she made sure that she and the people not far away were not in the camera. This is the small kitchen in my new store. It was recently renovated. Today is the first time it's being used after the renovation. As soon as Su Yiyan said this, the bullet screen froze for a second or two. New shop? Is it what I think it means? The streamer is going to open a physical store? Doesn't that mean that we can eat the host's medicinal cuisine in real life? We don't have to stare at the lucky draw anymore. Really? Really? Where is it? My baldness can be saved. Then does that mean my period can be cured too? And my insomnia? Mine? Isn't the main point that if the streamer really opens a physical store, we can go to the store and see the streamer's real face? Upstairs, you're really smart. Even if it weren't for the medicinal cuisine, I would still go to the shop to watch the streamer. I'm going. Yes. I also want to watch the streamer. The streamer's hands are so beautiful and her voice is so pleasant. She must be a great beauty in real life. Come on, let's team up and play with the streamer, let's go. Team +1, Team +2, the bullet screen was filled with joy. Su Yiyan stared at the bullet screen that said they wanted to watch her and shook her head regretfully. Chapter 223. She had already planned to install a scanning device at the door as soon as the store opened and send the customer's image data to her computer. She only needed to look at the computer in the small room to know their physical condition and prepare the appropriate amount of medicinal cuisine for them. She didn't need to meet them face to face. Su Yiyan felt that she was really clever. She smiled faintly and said, I do have the idea of opening a physical store. During the last live broadcast, I saw someone talking about the problem of Chinese medicine being difficult to popularize. After the broadcast, I thought about it and felt that it wasn't an easy problem to solve. After thinking about it, I simply found a store and opened a physical store, a medicinal cuisine store that can't be found anywhere else. The host is really rich. She can talk about opening a store so casually. It's like eating. I have an inexplicable hatred for the rich. However, I still want to say something. Well done. Please open a few more stores and save the children. Am I the only one who is more concerned about the price? The Chinese medicine in the host's hands is grown from extinct plants. You can't buy it even if you have the money. The price. The students are a little worried. You can rest assured about the price. It's not much different from the food sold in high-end restaurants. It's still possible to occasionally consume it once a month. This was also the price that Su Yiyan gave after considering it. Although she didn't open the store for profit, the basic cost and employee salary still had to be taken into account. She didn't want to seek a huge profit, but she couldn't let herself suffer too much. Just like what the audience said, the things in her hands were now unique. If she really wanted to sell them for profit, many rich people would pay a high price. After all, everyone had 3 disasters and 6 diseases and was afraid of death. The audience obviously thought so too. They thought that they would get a sky-high price, but it turned out to be similar to the food in high-end restaurants. Although the food in high-end restaurants was expensive, those dishes weren't as magical as the host's. They could still bear the pain and try it occasionally. Thinking about it this way, some people seem to have expectations for life. Work hard to make money go. The location of the store is in City A. I will write the specific address directly on the private page of the live broadcast room. The official opening date is tentatively set 3 days later at 9 o'clock. On the opening day, the store will have a 20% discount. In addition, due to my limited ability and the limited materials I have on hand, in the early stages of opening the store, I don't support selling outside the city or even within the city. You can only spend in the store. As soon as Su Yiyan's words came out, the viewers in the live streaming room were instantly filled with grief. F***CK City A? Is the host from a city? City A is so far away from me. It's very far from here, and it's not even available outside the same city, let alone in other cities. Will I never be able to eat the host's medicinal cuisine in this lifetime? In the city there were no classes in 3 days. I'll go to the streamer's shop to taste the medicinal cuisine on your behalf. I'll also help you meet the streamer. Not in A. The people in the city felt that they had missed out on 100 million yuan. They were crying miserably. On the other hand, the people in the city rubbed their palms as if they had been injected with chicken blood. They were waiting for the opening day of Su Yiyan's new shop. Chapter 224. This rule was very capricious. If it were in an ordinary restaurant, this rule alone would be enough to dissuade 70 to 80% of the customers. However, in this live stream room, although the bullet comments went blank for a few seconds, when the audience reacted, they didn't reject it as expected. I know. The host has repeatedly emphasized that the medicinal cuisine is like food, but it's still medicine. You can eat whatever you want, but you can't eat medicine. The host is being responsible for us. I believe in the host. The dishes in the host's previous livestream room are super delicious. I like all of them. Just give me a portion and I'll eat it to my heart's content. I'm very easy to raise. Obediently waiting. JPG. Compared to this, I'm more concerned about whether the medicinal cuisine in the host's new shop is the same as the ones that appeared in the host's livestream room. After the store opens, will the host still draw prizes in the future? Seeing that the audience adapted well, Su Yiyan heaved a sigh of relief. Yes, the medicinal cuisine in the store is the same as the ones that appeared in my previous livestream room. New menus will be added one after another. I'll also keep the prizes. Every time a new medicinal cuisine is released, I'll livestream it and draw prizes. The lucky viewers who won the previous lottery will be able to make a medicinal cuisine exclusive to them. The prizes will be given out after the next livestream. As soon as Su Yiyan finished speaking, the screen was filled with, "Oh yeah. Hooray." Su Yiyan couldn't help but laugh. Okay, let's stop talking about the new shop. Now let's get back to business and start today's livestream. Although the renovation of the shop had just been completed a few days ago, some necessary ingredients and herbs had been sent in a batch. It was also Su Yiyan's intention to take advantage of these few days to select a few people who had some talent in this field to help her. She had asked someone to arrange it in advance. Su Yiyan first took out Eucamia ulmoides, mulberry parasite, wolfberry, ginseng, amomum, tremella, and other herbs from the herb wall behind him. Then he took out a processed black-boned chicken and pork belly. Today I'll be making amomum, tremella, and pork belly soup and Eucamia black-boned chicken soup. These two soups are employee benefits and won't be used for the prizes. Employee benefits. That's right. Not only do our employees have the right to try the new dishes first, but they also have the right to receive their personal medicinal cuisine for free. Su Yiyan's words caused the viewers in the live streaming room to hold their breaths for a few seconds. Soon after, the screen was flooded with comments. F***CK, does the streamer's shop still lack employees? He just graduated from university and knows how to weld. Is it too late for me to resign and apply for a job in the streamer's shop? Woo woo woo, jealousy makes me ugly. Jealousy makes me cry. Jealousy separates me from my body. Previously, the viewers in the livestream room were still envious of the people in a city who were close to Su Yiyan. Now they were envious of the employees in Su Yiyan's shop. Yu Zian, who was watching the live stream and paying close attention to the future lady boss, couldn't help but narrow his eyes when he heard this. He was so envious that his eyes turned red. Oh my god, were the employee benefits in young madam's shop so good? Was it too late for him to jump ship now? No, it's too late for that. Chapter 225. Huo would never have thought that his loyal subordinate, who always placed him first in everything, would one day secretly plan how to use his name to cheat his fiancée of food and drink. The interns, who had been envied and hated even before they officially started working, finally realized how powerful their big boss was. Especially after the two soups were boiling and the aroma wafted out. This group of people began to unconsciously steal glances at Su Yiyan. A few of them with weaker concentration even began to sniff unconsciously. The stewing time was a little long. Taking advantage of this time, Su Yiyan simply made some crystal buns and small wontons. The crystal buns that had just come out of the oven had become beautiful and transparent. As soon as the steamer was opened, the overbearing aroma rushed out along with the white smoke, filling the entire kitchen and the live broadcast room. After the small wontons were cooked in the pot, they were sprinkled with a series of seasonings such as green onions and celery. When the fire was boiling, the aroma was so fragrant that it made people forget to leave. Su Yiyan left a steamer of crystal buns and 2 small bowls of wontons for the audience in the live broadcast room to try and draw a prize later. As for the rest, Li Jingwen, the student-looking young man who had first asked about the rules of Su Yiyan's restaurant, took them out and distributed them to the others. More than a dozen employees were already hungry from the aroma of these things. As soon as they saw Li Jingwen come over, they immediately rushed up and grabbed a few buns each and couldn't wait to eat. The crystal buns made by Su Yiyan combined the characteristics of soup dumplings. Not only were the skin thin but the soup inside was also enough. A few male employees were more impatient. They didn't know that there was soup inside. They bit into the bun one by one. It was so hot that they couldn't help but gasp, but they couldn't bear to spit it out. They could only endure the pain and slowly chew and swallow. A few girls learned their lesson. They carefully bit the edges of the bun, sucked the soup inside and ate the small bun in a mouthful. That taste was indescribably enjoyable. After eating the bun, they drank a bowl of hot wontons. The soup was fresh and delicious and the stuffing was sufficient. One bite at a time, it was warm and delicious. Among these people, except for Li Jingwen who went out of the camera to get something, the others didn't show up. Even so, their sighs when they tasted the food still reached the ears of the audience in the live broadcast room intermittently. All of a sudden, they felt that the two small bowls in front of them were no longer fragrant, and their hearts felt even more stifled. Even if he turned on the taste and smell simulator, a fake would always be a fake. He would never be able to achieve the satisfaction of actually eating something in his mouth. At this moment, everyone whose fighting spirit had been aroused by the delicious food made up their minds simultaneously. No matter how far away they were or how busy they were with work, they had to go to Su Yiyen's shop to try out their products. After Su Yiyen gave away the remaining crystal buns and wontons, the two soups were almost ready. Su Yiyen turned off the live stream under the pressure of the viewers urging her to stay. She then scooped out 2 bowls of soup and placed them in front of the 2 people. Let's try it. It should taste all right. It was more than okay. The audience, who had a certain understanding of Su Yiyen's cooking through the crystal buns and wontons, stared at the 2 bowls of soup in front of the 2 people. Their burning gazes were about to burn the 2 people involved. Not long ago, they were secretly glad that they hadn't been chosen to be the model. Now their intestines were about to turn green with regret. Why hadn't they been chosen just now? Chapter 226. Xan Hanliang and Cheng Yishuan held the soup in front of them with trembling hands. They could feel the envious and jealous gazes of the people around them. However, the billowing fragrance that kept entering their nostrils tightly grabbed their attention like a silk thread, making them unable to care about anything else. The 2 of them had just taken a sip when the other dozen people rushed to the table and asked with burning eyes, "How is it? How is it? What's the taste? Is it good?" The 2 of them showed a look of enjoyment at the same time and said cheerfully, "It's super delicious." After that, they learned by themselves. Without the urging of the people around them, they spontaneously talked about their feelings after drinking it. The black chicken soup is sweet with a hint of sweetness. It's stewed until it's soft, so it's super fragrant. The pork tripe soup doesn't have the smell of internal organs at all. It's soft and crisp and the taste is super good. After the 2 of them finished speaking, they couldn't help but recall the taste and almost drooled. They didn't care that there were so many people staring at them and buried their heads in drinking. There were a few people who had a good relationship with the 2 of them. They couldn't help but beg, "Give me a sip, just a sip. For the sake of our good relationship." Xan Hanliang and Cheng Yishuan were stunned. They subconsciously held their bowls tightly, but they couldn't refuse too directly. They could only look at Su Yiyen for help. Su Yiyen received their pitiful gazes and said with amusement, Okay, don't crowd around them. This is specially made for them. It's suitable for their physical condition. They can't eat it carelessly. If you really want to drink it, don't worry. After all, this is an employee benefit." When they heard the first half of Su Yiyen's words, they were a little disappointed, but when they heard the second half they became energetic again. Yes, this is an employee benefit. As long as they are employees of the restaurant, they can enjoy this treatment. Understanding this, many people's eyes lit up, and the gazes they looked at Su Yiyen with became extremely hot. Su Yiyen smiled slightly when he saw this. He knew that his goal had been achieved. If you want people to work for you wholeheartedly, friendship is one thing but benefits are another. If it was just a pie in the sky, no matter how much affection there would be a day when it would be exhausted. Giving some practical benefits at an appropriate time would give people hope. What's your answer? Would you like to work in my shop? Everyone looked at each other. We're willing. That's good. This is our employee contract. The salary requirements are written on it. In the future, I will appoint a team leader for the front and back kitchen. As for the specifics, it will depend on your learning progress and performance in the next few days. I've already mentioned a few things that you need to pay attention to. What's left is confidentiality. Keep it secret. That's right. You saw it just now. I'm a live streamer and I haven't shown my face on the internet yet. I didn't plan to do that after opening the shop, so I hope you can help me keep it a secret. Don't let anyone know that I'm the real owner of this shop. This is also the reason why I chose to recruit from my own family instead of recruiting publicly. Understood. We'll help you keep this a secret. We won't let anyone know your identity. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference. as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.